Yes, people, what's going on? Back again with another Red Talk. Haj, what you telling me, my brother?
I'm all good, fam. I'm all good. What are you saying? How's life?
Nah, not too bad, bruv. Can't complain at all, man. Can't complain, bro. Hey, big up the chat, man. Large up everyone coming through. Take it the audio's blessed. Do you know what I'm saying? We got a lot to get into after this weekend's football. A lot going on. A lot of people talking now. Gary Neville's coming out, doing what he usually does. He waits till the last minute to start flip-flopping on the manager. Apparently Peter Schmeichel has been saying some stuff on Talksport as well, which is telling because he was sitting right next to the new owners during, I think, the Chelsea game. I think I seen him sitting next to um Brailsford and Ratcliffe. So if he's coming out talking about changes, then the chances are he already knows that my man's head's on the chopping board, bruv. What were you making of the two performances? Because yeah, we had two games and it's almost like we never really got time to break down the Chelsea game because the Liverpool game came through straight after.
I think the Premier League game against Liverpool was a replica of the FA Cup game. I just think, I think we got like that final chance with Ahmad, and that's what got us the 3 points. But it's like, because I remember even me and you, like we done like a little review of it afterwards, and we both were
Mm,
like, we were like, fam, like there was a period where the game was in Liverpool's hands, didn't take it.
mm,
That first half was in Liverpool's hands. Like I'm talking Salah, Darwin, Diaz, sitters that they were missing, and it gave Man
mm,
United a chance to get back into the game. So it was the same. The only difference was the scoreline. We went from
mm-hmm,
1 point in the FA Cup, we won, and we went through to the next round. Chelsea game, you know what it is? From a football standpoint, it was a shocking game. Like both parties. Like I reckon the only thing that makes it sweet, if we had one or if Chelsea had one, is like bragging rights. It's a rival. It's always nice to win last minute, but I don't think
mm-hmm,
any Chelsea fan would even be looking at that game and thinking, "Wow, we played
mm,
well." It was a shocking game of football. It was just attack for attack. Both attacks were poor. Both defenses were poor, and then it just came down to who can convert their chances. And Chelsea had two penalties, a deflected goal, but I'll be real. Listen, at the end of the day, if you concede the amount of chances that Man United concede, whether it's the first minute or the 99th minute, you're always going to concede. There's always that
facts.
possibility of conceding. And I even like said it in my review where I was like, it's actually crazy how, let's say a week ago, like a week ago, some people were looking at the table and thinking, yo, United might do it because we were
Mm.
like 6 points behind Tottenham. Tottenham have got some relatively tough games. Everyone was like, I looked at the table yesterday. Even fifth is gone. You know, we're 11 points behind fifth place. And
But
in the
that's what
space
I was saying. I was saying that that's like that's not, we can't even make fifth, rude boy. Like it's that bad.
Like it's no, but I mean, like it's in the space of 1 week. How we played 3 games, so we played
Mm,
what, like Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, 8 days. All three of those games, we had them in our hands.
mm-hmm.
Brentford, we were 2 minutes away from the biggest smash and grab in Premier League history, and we bottled it.
Yep.
Chelsea, I think we were also 2-3 minutes away from victory at Stamford Bridge. We bottled it. Liverpool, it was about like 10 or so minutes. But the crazy thing is, we went from 9 points, potential 9 points, to two. And
Mm.
that's always the case. I'll be honest. Like I always say, it's like the fundamentals of football. If the fundamentals aren't there, there's always a chance of you conceding. And Man United are being exposed for it at the moment.
100%. And this is what it comes down to. It there's too many tactical things that we can't do fundamentally correct, and there's too many technical things that we aren't doing fundamentally well. And the combination of the two, yeah, is having football fans fighting over what's worse, the players or the system. When in reality, it's an amalgamation of both. However, it's more the system or lack of than the players, because in all fairness to the players, they all look bemused. They all look like they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They look like they don't know where they're supposed to be. And that comes down to coaching, bro. They all look lost, bro. There's not a single player on that pitch that looks like they know where they should be and what they should be doing and when they should be doing it. We even saw it for the goal that we conceded as well, from the set piece, bro. Kobe Mino doesn't have a clue how to defend Diaz. He's been in Manchester United Academy pretty much his whole life, bro. How do you how do you not know how to defend goal side, bro? This is basic football, Haj.
You know what it is? It's like throughout the season, like beginning of the season, I was one of the people that I'll own up to. I was one of the people that I was like, yeah, like it's the players. Further along down the line, I was like, cool, it's the players and the system. I think the crazy thing is about United from now to the end of the season is that now, and it's something that happens to every single team in the league. Like, for example, it happened to Arsenal last year and they were amazing. Business end of the season, some teams just give in because they get tired. But in the last two games, I was seeing levels of fatigue that I have not seen this whole season. Like Dalot for me is player of the season, even though he was getting cooked because
Agreed.
of his performance against Chelsea. I was like, listen, one bad game doesn't change anything. Dalot looked knackered. Dalot looked knackered yesterday. Kobe looks knackered.
He looks
Garnacho,
he looks knackered every game, mate.
Garnacho looks knackered, yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, Bruno for me has been knackered since January. Now, whether people rate or not rate these players, at the end of the day, like fatigue is fatigue. And it's so an already open system is now going to get more open because that ground is not going to get covered. And yeah, it's crazy, fam. And I'll be real, like, that's the consequences in it, yeah. Because when you're forcing players to cover 40, 50 yards of ground every 2 minutes, like, trust me, like, the players will give in, yeah. Like, they're not robots, yeah. But the crazy thing is like, I remember a few years ago, Liverpool played in a similar manner, but not like massive space to cover, but where they pressed high. From minute one, they pressed high, non-stop pressing. And I remember, like, even when I read like a Jurgen Klopp book, and he was like, it was known on average our players would always give in by the 35th minute. So 35 minutes of relentless pressing. After the 35th minute, it's all about seeing out the game. And he was like, this was something that was well known within the Liverpool squad, within me, my coaches. He was like, we used to always look at the players and be like to them, safe. You've got 35 minutes to win this game.
Yeah.
Bro, man, them will go out at 35 minutes, 3-0 up. The remainder, they're just seeing out the game. Man United, we're not even scoring. So, I think the ending of the season is going to be crazy. I'll be real because, yeah, can't wait for it to end though.
Oh, me neither. I can't wait for it to end in the sense that I'm looking forward to seeing the changes that are going to take place. And then that will really tell me where we're going and where we are. But it's still an exciting title race. It's a very exciting title race because there's going to be many twists and turns between now and the end of the season, man. And there's some tasty fixtures, man. So not for us, but in general. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be decent. Obviously, the FA Cup tie, the way we're playing, bro, this FA Cup tie against Coventry, yeah, is not a given, bro. It's not a given the way we're playing. This is the funny thing about it because we're not playing well by any stretch. Like, even the fact that I believe that we should have won the game yesterday, we should have been out of the game in the first half an hour. The game should have been done. It should have been absolutely done. And the thing is with Manchester United, it just doesn't matter how long you've watched football. When a team is dominant, the opposite team always has chances, bro. Like, it's almost an unwritten rule that no matter how well you're playing, the other team is going to get chances, bro. And again, we just proved that we have players that can make things happen or players that can capitalize in the moment, bro. Because if you look at them out, even though we don't score a lot of goals, in terms of our shot on target to goal ratio, we must be pretty high up the table, bro. Because I feel like we don't test keepers very often, but we tend to punish teams for not punishing us. So I don't know what that stat is, but when it comes to being clinical in terms of shots on target per goal scored, we got to be pretty high up, man. Because we never have a high volume of sustained pressure, but we always seem to get goals.
That can be true. You know, I might even look into that after the game. But the crazy thing is like conversion rate. There's like pros and cons to it. It's nice to have a good conversion because it shows you're clinical. But I'll be real. That's if you're talking about an individual. But like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I'm all for a team having low conversion as long as the output is high. Because Like, for example, I look at Erling Haaland, and I think last year he broke a Premier League record for the amount of big chances missed.
Mhm.
But homie still walked out of it with like 32, 36 league goals and won a Premier League title. Like, it's all about creating chances time and time and time again. And the problem is with Man United. For example, sometimes we might have games where we've had 2 shots and we've got 2 goals. Clinical FC and rare tear. But if you go back down to it, why on earth in 90 minutes of football are you creating 2 chances only?
Of
When,
course, that's the problem.
bro, Liverpool in one half yesterday created like 5. I think
Mm.
when we played Brentford, bruh, that one was a shocker. Like when we played Brentford created 6. And they had
Mhm.
they broke a Premier League record of like 84 touches in our box. And I'm like at the end of the day, that's what United need to get to. And fair enough, on some days you might score 1 out of 6. But trust me, the majority of the times, if you've got good players, you probably end up scoring 4. And that's how you win games. So with Man United, it's bro, it's a shit show defensively, midfield, offensively. It's
No, 100%. You want to be the team that's creating the chances. Don't get me wrong. Do you know what I mean? This is not me at all making excuses or glorifying what United do. It's further me proving the point that people are so quick to point their fingers at the players, but the players are actually grinding out results in spite of the fact that they have been set up to fail from the very beginning of the season. From the very beginning of the season. Like this Ten Hag quote here, yeah, is ridiculous. Our style of play is clear. Why don't people see the same thing? I don't know, and I don't care. That's their point of view. We know our identity. We want to dominate with and without the ball. You see this gaslighting, yeah, this delusion and this pure arrogance is crazy, bro. How can he say, why don't people see the same thing? Bro, you're the only person that sees this. We don't dominate the game on the ball and we don't dominate the game off the ball. We are one of the worst teams in the league in possession. So how can you talk about our identity is to dominate on the ball? It's not. This guy's talking like he's got us playing the Zerbi ball, bro. This is what's crazy. That's how he talks. When the reality is, we spend the majority of the game. Our highest percentage of possession is out from the goalkeeper and our back line. We don't keep the ball in the opposing team's half very well at all. Period. And without the ball, it's not even like we're forcing turnovers well, bro. Most of the time, our first line gets broken, and then the other team's playing into a big hole in the middle, and we're getting countered on. So I don't know what he's talking about.
You know what it is? I think Ten Hag's biggest issue is the fact that, like, see the way Man United play at the moment. I don't think that's Ten Hag ball. I'll be honest. Like, as much as I'm against the guy, I think he talks a good talk, but I just think the players don't know how to do what he's asking them. And the problem is he'll come out and still defend them. When in reality, I think all of us would have like favored a more ruthless approach of coming out and just saying, listen, this is how I want to play. They can't do it. Give me better players. But not many managers do that. But like I've
I don't
always
think he needs
understood the
better
way
players. He needs to be a better coach.
No, 100%. But that's where it comes down to how well he can get his message across to these players. And that's where I feel like that is the biggest like stumbling block that he's come up against. Recruitment. I feel like for a guy that's come out and said, I want to be in charge of who leaves, who stays, who we sign. Like nobody is familiar with your philosophy than you because it's your philosophy. It's not mine. It's not yours. It's not Rashford's. It's your philosophy. It's your team. You've been given the keys. And I think the fact that he can't get his message across, he can't drill it into these players. If you can't do that, it's fine. Like sometimes you walk into a team and you're like, listen, you man can't do what I'm asking you to do. I'm going to go out and get specialists that know how to do what I'm asking them to do. The problem is, spent like 400, 450. And those men are just as lost.
But yeah, exactly. Because when you say about specialists, bro, like, bro, he brought in players that had played for him and he's not playing them because they don't get it. This is the problem.
Now go on.
That's the problem. Because if he was saying, yo, give me some more money because the man that I've signed, yeah, understand how to play ball, but the man that are here don't get it, give me more money, fine. But the guys you brought in are also struggling.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like his system, because like it's such a like rigid system where it's like when you look at his Ajax team, like this is all I can base it off, to be fair. Like when you look at his Ajax team, like any team that plays possession ball, it relies heavily on the system and like 11 individuals rather than one individual. And I think the reason why his players haven't worked out, like for example, Onana. I ain't a fan of Onana in the slightest, yeah. But I
Yeah.
always back him up and say, in a sense, like Onana for me just reminds me of Edison in a
Yep.
sense where I don't think Edison is a good shot stopper. I don't think he's a good keeper, but he plays in a team that protects him so well that his flaws aren't that exposed. In a sense, they play in a way that maximizes his strengths rather than his flaws. What is that? On the ball. And
Yep.
that's why, like, even at Inter Milan don't concede that many shots, but what they do is dominate the ball. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
Onana shines for them. And I think the problem is like the Onanas, the Lissandros, he's brought them in. And it's like, for example, he looked at Lissandro and said to Lissandro, these men can't do. These men can't play out in the first phase. They can't remain calm. So you've now got this responsibility of 3-4 different players. And you have to carry the mantle of playing out from the back alone. It don't work like that. Similar to like midfield, similar to attack. He should have just from day one, rather than signing 2-3 players that know how to play his way, signed 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, rather than looking at some of these players and thinking, maybe I can tweak you. Maybe I can get something out of you. Maybe this, maybe that. And that's what it is.
That's crazy. Man said United's average ball possession is 49.7, bro. Only team lower than that is 40% is Sheffield United. Bro, we're awful on the ball. And that's not due, and brother, that's not due to personnel. It's not due to personnel because there's only a few players in the team that I think don't have the basic technical level here to receive the ball and pass it. There's a few of them, but there's not loads of them. And it's probably only a few of our attackers. And that's about it, bro. But when I look at Man United's midfield, everyone has the ability to just receive the ball and pass it 5 yards. Even players as bad as Scott McTominay. If Scott McTominay's got a proper manager or a proper coach, should I say, that's coaching him, telling him, listen, don't turn on the ball. Don't take more than 2 touches. And he understands the spacing and the ball's been played into him and he can just lay it off to people. He can do that, bro. Like he's a scrub, but he's got the very, very, very basics in it. So there's nothing stopping us from playing better football than we're playing and keeping the ball better than we're keeping it. The problem is the gaps between our players are way, way, way too big. And then when that happens, you're relying on players that aren't notoriously known for their range of passing to try and find needles in a haystack, bro. Because that's how we play. That's how we play. The gap between our defense and our attack, because there is no midfield, is massive, bro. These men have to play 30-yard passes to get the ball into attackers from centre back. Because there's no one to pass to. There's no one in between the lines. There's no one there. It's crazy. And even the last game, I'm seeing Kobe Mino pressing up high with Bruno and stuff and leaving Cass by himself. And I'm thinking, hold on. Kobe was the first phase guy for us for a little while. And then it's like he went back to playing Cass there when that's not Cass's job. That's not his strengths. And then he's got Kobe pressing up high. And then sometimes he's deep. And then, bro, it's a shambles, bro. Like I couldn't even tell you. Even when man say 3-1-6, I couldn't tell you what system it is. And then Dallo inverting as well, like to be a center, like almost like a playmaker. Don't even make sense, bro. Like, why are you choosing Dallo to do that job? This guy's weird, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, as in like he's fully exposed himself because, and it's not just him, to be fair. Like I've always looked at every Man United manager after Fergie, besides LVG. I've always been like for me, the system and the style of play should like dictate which players start.
Yeah.
Man United have always done it the opposite way, which is the players dictate the system. So, and I feel like that was like Ten Hag's biggest mistake. So, what he should have done is as soon as he got appointed, he should have just made it crystal clear. I want to play like whatever, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I want to play 4-3-3. I need my left winger to be of this profile. I need my right winger to be of this profile. Do I have these profiles? Yes or no? If I don't, go get them for me. Fair enough. You might roll the dice on a player and be like, listen, you might like develop, you might grow, you might tweak your game. Cool. Problem is he came in and he was like, safe. How do you man like to play? Is this how you man like to play? So be it. And the thing is, I'll be real, like last year we saluted it. We were like, listen, you only one transfer window, you managed to get something out of them and rare tear. Like you had to work with bums like Veghorst, Sabitzer, and this and that. Fairs. It's like, bro, you look at it this season and you're like this season has been crazy because it's like the system doesn't play to his strengths, as into his philosophy, but it doesn't play to the players. Like, you know, we always come out and say, I think he came out and said it. Was it him that said it? No, Ollie said it on his overlap interview. Where he was like at Man United, it reached a stage where I couldn't play the way that I wanted to play. And I think that was bullshit, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, he goes, oh, we couldn't play the way we wanted to play because we've got players that only suits counter-attacking football. But at least when I turn around and I look at Ollie, I'll be like, Fairs, like you played counter-attacking football. You were open as hell. Defensively, you were crap. But at least I'll always look back at your teams and be like, it was counter-attacking.
Yeah, we knew what it was.
Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't good enough, but at least you said counter-attacking. We saw counter-attacking. The problem with Ten Hag is like, it says domination. We don't see domination. He says, I'm playing to these players' strengths. Are you really? Because so that's where it's a problem, isn't it? Like, he contradicts himself a lot. So that's what it is.
He does, though. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, he uses the wrong players. And that's why I don't trust him. And also, I have no sympathy for him because every possible scenario you could use as an excuse for him, he's had it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's all well and good saying the man them here, yeah. The man them here are not good enough, but cool. You've brought in man that you've worked with before. You can't even get the same tune out of them. It's like you're telling us, you're gaslighting us and telling us that, cool, I have a style of play. Nobody can see it, bro. And if we don't understand it, then the players definitely don't understand it, my bro. And you could argue most of his signings, yeah, if not all of his signings, yeah, have been extremely underwhelming in terms of what we thought we were going to get out of them and what we have gotten out of them. So this guy, he can't have any sorts of complaints when he gets sacked at the end of the season because it's inevitable.
Nah, I think he's the only guy, if he was to get sacked, I think even his biggest of fans might look at it and be like, yeah, like this was warranted. Because, bro, there's a lot of money been spent. There's a lot of money that's been spent. And I'll be honest, like, I'm not even looking at it and thinking, fam, you spent 450 million. You better go out there and win me a league. You better go out there and get me to a semi-final in the Champions League. But as much as I will forever stand by the point, I need a massive squad clear out. I need every single player gone. We're not as shit as Luton. I'll tell you that. I watched Luton, yeah. Like, trust me, like, there have been times where I've sat down and watched them. Bro, we're not that shit. We're not as crap as Luton. We're not as crap as Burnley. But then when you look at, like, when you dive deeper into the numbers, we're performing on par with them. The only difference between us and them, the only reason why Burnley are or Luton are like what, 17th, 18th, and Man United are 7th, 8th. We've just got that extra bit of quality that can at times get us 3 points. And even if it is something as simple as, I don't know, Bruno seeing a keeper off his line, dinking a keeper, Rashford scores 1 out of 50. We've just got that extra. We've got better players than them. And that's the reason why we're higher than them in the table. But if we were to break it down like system for system, play style for play style, then yeah, we belong with them. Because when you watch Luton and you watch Man United, you could even make a case the team in orange looks better sometimes. And
but that's the point. That's what I keep saying to man. I said, yo, like, realistically, we should be around 15th, 16th in the league. That's where we should be, based on the games that we've played that we actually deserve to win. Like, it's not a coincidence. Even when you look at like the chances that we create and the quality of the chances we're creating, the goal difference and all these things, bro. Our goal difference is in the minuses, bro. In the minuses, bro. Like, towards the end of the season, that we should be fighting. We should be in the relegation battle with that goal difference. We actually should be, bro. Like, it just doesn't make sense what's going on at the moment. Our players are keeping us above where we're being coached to be. This is what it is. And the manager's talent ID, yeah, is the worst thing. I think as a coach, yeah, that's non-negotiable, talent ID. And it's not just not talent ID in the sense of being able to recruit players, but talent ID in a sense of being able to see what a player's strengths are and delegate them a certain task or play them in a certain position that it plays into their strengths and it hides their weaknesses as much as possible. This manager has looked at these players from Diogo Dalot inverting, yeah. As good as Dalot is on the ball, his biggest strengths are going down the outside, playing certain line breaking passes. When you got Dalot dropping inside almost in as a number 6, bro, what are we doing? Like, that doesn't even make no sense, bro. In certain manager systems, a lot of the time, yeah, they'll use the centre back to do that job, and the fullbacks might tuck in as centre backs with the goalkeeper, and the centre back step forward. Centre backs in the modern game should be better on the ball than right backs in terms of being able to break lines and do all these things. Why are we playing our right back in that position? And it's a traditional right back as well. It's not like we're trying to do the Zinchenko thing, yeah, and we've got a midfielder playing at right back and he's dropping in and he's trying to dictate from there. But a right back doing that, like an actual right back that used to be a wing up, makes no sense. His best attributes are not for breaking lines centrally, so he shouldn't be used there. You then look at Casemiro as the single pivot. His strengths are not initial phase, first phase build up. They're not that, and even splitting passes between the lines is not his strength, so he shouldn't be used in that role. Now, even using Wan-Bissaka as the left back, you know that Wan-Bissaka likes to defend in 1v1 situations, and he likes to let people go down the outside and he likes to slide in, bro. We ended up conceding a penalty because he was sliding inwards, bro, instead of sliding to block across, bro. Dalot's played left back at Porto. Dalot's more comfortable at left back than Wan-Bissaka. Why are we playing Wan-Bissaka at left back? There's so many questionable things that this manager's done in terms of profiles that doesn't make sense. We've all seen, yeah, that I don't rate Garnacho, yeah, but he's better on the right than the left. On the left, he's shit. At least on the right, he can kind of cut inside and just pass the ball 5 yards, bro, because he plays with his head down. At least on the right-hand side, it kind of mitigates a lot of the bullshit that he does. Like, there's so many different things, yeah, that this manager's always trying to force. Bro, like, it's just hurting my head. This Hojlund thing, I'm not sure where you stand on him. I don't know. Like, maybe you think he's decent. This guy's fucking useless, bro. And the thing is,
a dog, fam.
he's shit, bro. And the thing is, not only is he shit, yeah, but he's always been shit, bro. Like, bro, I did some background research on this brother. Do you know what I'm saying? All the way back to Scandinavia, and spoke to some people that played in the same team as him. And bro, that bro wasn't even lighting up the place in Denmark, bro. Do you know what I mean? It was politics how my man ended up getting out. And now this guy's playing for Manchester United. Like, it's not even making no sense, bro. Like, the guy has never been really a goal scorer nowhere. And his link play is not good enough to even be in this team, bro. The last 3 games he's played, people are making excuses saying, oh yeah, but he got a slight injury and he needs to play his way back into fitness and that. Bro, he don't have the basic fundamentals, bro, at 20 years old or 21 years old to play the way that he's being used. He doesn't have them. The best argument I've heard for him was from Musa, and Musa was saying, yeah, but we could use him as a wide player and he could just be like a better Rashford or something. Cool. If we want to use him in a wide area, like Rashford, yeah, for instance, yeah, he's better than Rashford, like on a technical level. Like, if he gets played through the way Rashford gets played through from out wide, he'll probably score more goals than Rashford. I hear all of that. But Rashford ain't the benchmark either, because Rashford is rubbish. So again, it's low-hanging fruit here.
When it comes to Hojlund, like, I'll be honest, I like Hojlund. Yeah, but you know what it is? From now to the end of the season, I've watched every Hojlund performance this year. I've even gone back sometimes watched game twice.
Firstly, tell me what you like about Hojlund before you finish this point, because I want to see what you see in it.
Bro, when you look at this whole team, there's not many things that you like about the whole team, but it's because either the system is exposing them or they're not being used the right way. And Hojlund falls into that bracket just as much as some of the players that you like. Like, for example, I don't rate Casemiro, but you always turn around and say to me, but it's a donut shape and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, there's a bit of truth to that. Yeah. And what Musa, did you say, said it? Bro, you look at the way, like this is the best way I put it, because especially like when I watched the Brentford game, you look at Brentford and the way they play with their two attackers, and then you look at the team that we signed Hojlund from. He came from like a 5-3-2 Gasperini Atalanta. Zapata was the hold up, Hojlund was the outlet. Identical to Ivan Toney is the hold up, and Bumo Wisa is the outlet. He comes to Man United. You're not playing in a two-striker system. Cool. You're going to play down the middle, and you're only as good as the players around you. To your right, you got Garnacho. To your left, you've got Rashford. Right behind you, you got Bruno. Now, I will admit, technically, I don't think he's as bad as you like to make seem, but I don't think he's as good as some people also like to make seem. I think he's relatively mediocre, and at times, his mediocre levels do expose him. But at the end of the day,
he's
like
Lukaku. He's Lukaku levels on the ball. He is.
Nah, he's better than Lukaku.
No, but he's Lukaku levels on the ball. He's not massively better than Lukaku. He's not on the ball.
Cool. If you want to use Lukaku as an example, yeah, like let's be real. Lukaku's had a lot of howlers throughout his career, but let's be real. Like Lukaku still had a relatively decent career in terms of goals, like putting Inter Milan on his back, winning them a Scudetto that they hadn't done in like over a decade. At the end of the day, if you know you've got players that is literally the example that I always use when I like stream. I'm like, if you go 5-a-side with the man them, and someone says to you, yo, Rants, you're gonna play with player A. So someone like WhatsApps you, like, yo, you're gonna play with my man, and you know my man's first touch ain't amazing. My man's passing ain't amazing. Bro, every single time that guy gets the ball, I guarantee you'll always go short. Just to make it easier for him, yeah? As much as Casemiro is in an island by himself, and like you said earlier on, he's not a like first phase specialist. You need players within like close proximity to him. We don't have that. We blame the manager. Bro, I'm seeing us launching balls to a kid, fair enough, a man that was never ever in his life used as a target man. He can't hold it up. And to be fair, even when he does sometimes, there's no one there to pass to. My only pet peeve with Hojlund, and it pisses the living hell out of me, and I think this is instructions. I actually think this is something that Ten Hag has instructed him to do, because I see Garnacho do it and I see Rashford do it. Any bit of contact, they drop to the floor, because I don't think a guy that's like 6'4" is that weak, because any nudge, he drops to the floor and he's complaining. The funny thing is, he probably gets like 2 out of 10 of those decisions.
You'll be surprised, bro. You'll be surprised. Like he's not only is he not strong, yeah, but a lot of the time strength comes from balance, innit? And he always looks off balance. When you watch him play, even when he shoots, he falls over a lot of the time, bro. Like his general balance is not good, bro. Like it's the same with Garnacho. His general balance is not good. When you watch him run with the ball, he always looks like he's gonna fall over. Like he looks like that. So it's one of them things where receiving the ball back to goal is a skill set. It's a skill set. It's not really something that you can teach. It's not, because you need a certain level of confidence. You need a certain level of intelligence. And the players that are best at receiving the ball back to goal are not necessarily the biggest and strongest players. They are the most intelligent players, because they know how to position their body. They know how to read certain things. They know when to anticipate contact. Like Eden Hazard used to do it a lot. He used to stick his bum out like as the player was coming towards him. All of that is timing, because he doesn't just put his foot on the ball and stick his ass out. Like he understands that he's got 0.5 seconds. The contact's coming. I'm going to receive the ball. I'm going to ride the contact, and I'm going to push the player away at the same time. It's all intelligence, and it's reading of the game, and it's timing. It's not just as easy as just, all right, cool, I'm just going to put my foot on the ball and just hold someone off. Like football doesn't really work like that. If you just stand there and put your foot on the ball, someone will just come around the side and nick it from you. So it's understanding the time that you have in the pocket, the space that you have, where the defender is, all these things. But you have to be competent on the ball to have the confidence to be relaxed in those situations. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just like if you're fighting, you have to have confidence in your defense here to be able to have your back against the rope and just be relaxed and watch the shots and parry the shots. Like he don't have the confidence when the ball's coming into him, because he doesn't trust his touch. He doesn't trust his strength. He's not confident, bro. He's not confident in these positions because he's not good at it. And this is just what it is.
No, but that's true. But it's like we always sit down and be like, yo, like this player is me. And I've always said, Hojlund, as much as I like him, if I was to go back in time, I wouldn't sign him. And it's not because I think he's been shit or anything. No, it's because like at the beginning of the season, I was pro Ten Hag. So I was looking at what he was doing, and I was like, cool, like I get the way you want to play. I understand why you're trying to sign a Hojlund, yeah. Fam, come Christmas, I'm looking at the team and I'm like, we're actually playing the exact same way as last year. And last year, you always favored the target man number 9. Like, there's a reason why he went and got like the Weghorst and Retete. Then I go and look at his Utrecht teams, his Ajax teams, Sebastian Haller, when he had Arnautovic. He's always like the target man number 9 with runners around them. He's gone and put his 75, however much we paid for him, 75, 72 million pounds. He's gone and put all of his trust in Hojlund. And this is where I do blame Ten Hag more than anything, because it does come down to talent ID, that is for one. But two, like, let's be real, like, football's got into a stage now where, like, you see so many managers turn world beaters and tweak their games, or even bums. Like, some players, they look like they have no career, they're finished, and then it always takes that one manager. Like, for example, Jordan Henderson. I don't rate Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson was on the verge of getting shifted out of Liverpool. They signed him from Sunderland, snanked the gaff out. Klopp came in and he was like, listen, you're not going to give me what Wijnaldum gives me, what Fabinho gives me, what Coutinho gives me, but there is a role for you. It might be a very like simple role, but there is a role for you. And he managed to get something out of him, and that's what kept him in the team. I look at Man United and Ten Hag and I'm like, the end of the day, if it is poor recruitment, like as in poor scouting, poor research, then that is a crime that you're going to have to pay for. But the crazy thing is I can turn around and say that about many players that he signed. But I just look at it and think, if you wanted Hojlund to play that way, either you teach him to play that way, or you stop playing him, or you play in a different way that plays to his strengths. You've got 3 solutions. You've got 3 options. Have we stuck to any one of them? Has he taught him to play with his back to goal? Because, yeah, there is so much more to it. Like, if you're playing with your back to goal, the first thing you have to do is when you receive the ball, you have to control it by putting your foot on it. That's what it is. With Hojlund, he controls it with like the side of his foot. So sometimes it bounces off him like a trampoline, and then it bounces back towards our goal, if you know what I mean, because he's playing with his back to goal. So it basically just puts us under pressure. Simple things. So I look at Hojlund and I'm like, someone must be taking him aside and telling him, listen, this is how we want to use you. This is what you need to do. We'll judge you by the end of the season. Have you improved or not? The kid is drowning and we continue to play the same way. Safe. Have we taken him out of the picture? No, we don't have a backup.
But you're noticing he's getting subbed off a lot more now. So the manager is admitting that he's not doing the job. But the thing is, yeah, it's like there's different ways to hold the ball up. Because like you're saying, if you want to receive the ball and hold it up, you need to receive it a certain way, which is true. But also there's a way of holding up the ball, yeah, that doesn't include tussling with centre backs. The two things are not mutually exclusive. Like, you can hold the ball up without having any physical contact at all. You can hold the ball up, but without having physical contact. This guy spends more time wrestling with centre halves and falling over than he does actually getting onto the ball. And yeah, that could be because of his profile and all these things. Because when I looked at Hojlund, yeah, when I was watching, I think when we were linked with him and it looked like we were going to do the deal, I sat here and we kind of done a Rants Reacts and I looked at his skill set and I said, this guy looks like a winger to me. I said, because when you watch his previous things, it's a lot of driving down the outside on both wings. He didn't look like a striker to me. And I said that him and Rashford wouldn't work, especially if he was central. I said the only way they work in the same team is if they play a split forward and there's a Sancho in between them or a Martial in between them. They don't work side by side. Similar to the problem that Liverpool had with Salah and Nunes. They don't work side by side. You need someone to break them up. And watching Hojlund, yeah, for me, I'm just a proper stickler when it comes to basic fundamentals. And I just don't see it. And this is why I said to these guys at the beginning when we brought him in, everyone was talking about Weghorst. I said, broski, I said, Weghorst was giving me more. He was giving me more because when I played the ball to him, I knew that he was holding it and he was bringing someone else into play. I knew he was doing that. As much as people hated him, yeah, and were saying he wasn't scoring goals, he was more useful to the team. The team scored more goals with him in the team whether in the 10 or in the 9, than they do with Hojlund playing, bro. Like Hojlund doesn't facilitate and he doesn't score enough goals to make up for the fact that he doesn't facilitate and make space for his teammates and bring them into the game, bro.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because then that's like me turning around and saying Wan-Bissaka is a better fullback for a defensive team than Diego Dallo, but Dallo is the better fullback. It all comes down to how you play and how you use them. We played last year with somebody needed to do the role that Bruno wasn't doing, which is playing between the lines, drag a centre half with them, like occupy centre halves, leave that space in behind for Rashford. Weghorst was like, say, if I had the skill set for it, it worked. Like I've always said, there's a reason why you look at Rashford's best seasons, they've always come with Weghorst and Martial. They've always come with those two. Sorry?
Yeah, he needs a foil to play off. He needs a pivot, always.
So I've always looked at it and been like, cool, we might not like it, but if you do want to continue with Rashford down the middle, go get that profile, but like better than Weghorst, or like more physically dominant and reliable than a Martial. And we haven't done that. And I remember, like, funnily enough, even I said it in the summer where I was like, Rashford Hojlund will not work unless you start to play to one of them. If you want to play to Rashford, Hojlund has no place in this team. If you want to play to Hojlund, Rashford has no place in this team. Yeah. And bro, it's like a never-ending cycle. Like, how many strikers have we had this over the decade, and we've been like, it's not working because of player A and player B. So when it comes to Hojlund, I don't know who to pin it on. Yeah, I'll be honest, because even when I watched him at Atalanta, because it was a split striker system. Like when you play split striker systems, both of them don't occupy central areas because it's just too congested. One will always like roam and drift to the flanks, similar to like to Brentford. That's why when we played Brentford and they schooled us, I loved it because I was like, do they really have better players than Manchester United? No, not really.
No.
But it's like their system just plays to everybody. Like, fam, Johan Wissa is dead, but he had a good game. But it's because the system plays to his strengths. They say to him, safe, what have you got? You're fast, you got quick feet, you like to run the channels. This is exactly what you're going to do. Ivan Toney, what are you good at? Dropping deep, connecting the dots. This is what you're going to do. With Man United, and I've always been saying, like, ever since we played Brighton at the beginning of the season, I wanted us to do the whole like 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. But once again, bro, the problem is, now even someone asked me on my stream, like, what would be your go-to team? I was like, as wild as it sounds, it could only work if I have Martial to play with Hojlund. But Martial's not here. Like, he's not reliable enough.
Yeah, or Jaden. That's the only way it works. In between the lines, it has to be Sancho or Martial, bro. It has to be Sancho in that 10. Some of the best football I've seen him play for us was when we played the 4-2-2 under Ralph, bro, and Sancho was balling out. Like, Sancho is a central player. He does play out wide, but he's always looking for an excuse to drift inside and link, bro. I think there's ways of utilizing Hojlund in a 2 up front, but he has to play like in like a Zerbi 4-2-4 system with a Sancho next to him, or a Martial, or someone of that ilk next to him that can drop into the midfield and receive the ball and he can run off them. He can't play that one striker by himself. He doesn't have the basics for me. He doesn't. And even when people talk about, oh, he's not getting service, this guy's one-touch finishing in and around the area, and that ain't of a standard of an Erling, yeah, where I can say, you know what, if we just feed him in the area, he will score. He hasn't even proven that to me. I've seen this guy missing enough point-blank chances, yeah, for me to say, you know what, it's not like this brother's stone cold in front of goal and we need to almost adapt the way we attack to suit him. Because he doesn't excel at anything in the game. There's nothing that he does. There's nothing that he does extremely well to the point where I can say, "Yo, this is his skill set." To me, he looks like an athletic Nicholas Bentner, bruv. That's what he looks like.
No. That's a bit. That's a
bro,
bit too far.
Bentner was more technical than him, bro. I'll be real.
But you know what it is? Here's the way I look at it. Yeah, and I remember, like, I was even like watching a video on this where it's like, there's 2 areas on a football field where you can afford to have not the best of technicians. There's 2 areas on a football field, and I actually agree with this. Number one is a keeper, but of course, in the modern game, everyone wants to play out from the back. That's why now keepers like David De Gea are out of business, and they're favoring the more technical ones rather than the good shot stoppers. But that's because football's changed. And I'll also say number 9. Number 9 is one area where I can't get away with having a technical striker that's not the most technical. Why? Because let's be real. Like the bread and butter is to put the ball into the back of the net. Like Erling Haaland for me is the best example, and this is why Pep is the best, because Pep had a problem last year, which in the beginning of the season he was getting exposed about it. What he done, he took, I think it was the international break. After the international break, he came and he changed the whole system, went and won himself a treble. He signed Haaland.
Yeah, he
He
changed to the
realized
three at the
shit.
back.
No, it's not even that, bro. It played a part, but he signs Haaland. Haaland can't play with his back to go. Haaland against West Ham, even though he scored, was getting bullied by like Zuma and these man. Cool. Can't play with his back to go. No first touch. Can't drop deep, outnumber the opposition like 3v3 battle. Striker drops deep, turns it into a 4v3. Can't do any of that stuff. The only thing he knows how to do is put the ball into the back of the net. Now, Pep is a team. Sorry, Manchester City is a team that likes to like sustain pressure in the opposition half. You sustain pressure by dominating the ball in the opposition half. If you've already got one weak link on the ball, that's your weakness. What Pep done, I swear to God, and this is why I always look at Man United and I'm like, if we were just a good team, not a good team. If Ten Hag was a good manager, he would have done this change. City, what they done last year, because at the beginning of the season, Grealish weren't really playing. They bring in Grealish, they bring in Bernardo Silva. And Pep's even said this like at the end of the season interview, where he was like, we started to play, rather than trying to dominate the ball and retain it in central areas.
Go too direct.
They started to retain it out wide. So they became, like, for example, City have always been a team, Rodri, Gundo, central areas is where we dominate the ball. On the flanks is where the high-risk football comes, like the KDB out wide and this and that. Last year, that completely changed. But Grealish don't play like KDB out wide. Grealish don't even play like Doku out wide. He was like, say, Grealish, you're the ball retainer on the left. Bernardo Silva, you're the ball retainer on the right. We are going to retain the ball out wide, and we're going to suck the opposition to the flanks. But you have to bear in mind, if they do shuffle across to the flanks, it leaves space in central areas. Yeah, there's a reason why Rodri was scoring goals for fun last year. Gundo was scoring goals for fun year. Haaland was. He tweaked his team to compensate for Erling Haaland's lack of technical ability. Bro, we don't do that shit. Like, we don't look and be like, oh, this is Rashford's flaw. This is Garnacho's flaw. This is Bruno's flaw. We just put them out there and expect to play this like perfectionist football. And then we can't do it. And then we just sit down and cook the players, innit? The guy was literally a split striker at Atalanta that always received the ball facing play. There's only one time this season I've seen him receive the ball facing play. One time against Galatasaray. And the funny thing is, it didn't even come from a Man United pass. It came from a back pass from Abu Bakr, whatever his name is. Yeah, that was it. So you just need to play.
I don't know. It's a difficult one, because I hear what you're saying about Pep in it, but at the same time, sometimes with these managers, I think we almost give them too much credit for certain things. Because when you look at this season, for instance, if he knows, that Erling's not good on the ball and all them things, then his persistence with Doku doesn't make sense. His let him Cole Palmer go when you know you've already lost Mahrez doesn't make sense. There's loads of things that don't make sense as well. So it's one of them things where I don't think it was just as simple as that. I don't think it was as simple as, all right, it's because Erling's not good on the ball. I don't think it was that simple. I think we can all agree that Man City are a better team when Grealish plays out wide than when he doesn't play out wide, because he helps them retain possession higher up the pitch. And obviously you can't retain possession with Erling because he doesn't hold the ball well, but neither does Doku. So again, the Doku signing makes no sense if that was Pep's rationale last season. And also when you look at Alvarez in the 10, that doesn't lend well to ball retention either. So either Pep is now on heroin, or, do you know what I'm saying? Last season, that wasn't the main issue. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think that was the main thinking behind it. I just think that when you look at Man City, for instance, they've got so many players that are so good at retaining possession. They get away with carrying Erling and KDB in possession a lot of the time. And even out of possession, they get away with it because the technical level of the other players and also the work rate of someone like a Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden are very underrated. They're two of the hardest working players in the league off the ball. Like, people talk about what they do on the ball, but off the ball, these guys, they don't stop running, innit? I think that City get away with because of their work rate and their ability to retain the ball, they create chances for Erling, bro. So they kind of write him off in build-up. They just write him off. They don't even use him in build-up. If you watch how they play, they
No.
don't use him in build-up at all. So I don't think it's necessarily cool. Erling ain't got a good touch, so we're not going to do that. They just don't use it. But I don't think that they can. I don't think many teams can get away with not using their striker in build-up unless they have the players of the caliber of Man City.
But you know what it is? It's like, you see, with this season, I was always like curious because I was like, Pep always changes it every season. But would you really change a treble winning team? Like a team that, fam, ever since January, like last season, them man were winning games left, right, and center. And it's like, it was unfair, like to a point where you just knew they were going to kill the opposition. I think his biggest problem this year is, one, and this is something that you don't really say about Man City. I've got a video on this, I just haven't edited it, but poor recruitment. I'll be real. Like,
Horrible.
I don't think anybody expected Gundo to leave, Mahrez to leave. Cool. Gundo, the replacement is Kovacic. Kovacic is dead. I'll be real. Like, he's technically sound, but he's dead. He's not on par with any of those City players.
He's a good ball progressor, but he's not in the Gundo mode.
And especially when you look at a City team, a lot of their players don't carry. It's more about progressing through passing. His passing is his biggest weak link. But we can both agree it was a downgrade. Doku is a completely different profile to Mahrez. And even if he is a different profile, does he provide the output that Mahrez provided off the bench? Mahrez hasn't been a starter for the past 2 years, but he still chips in with like 10 goals. City's biggest problem this year is they've tried to play the same way, but it's just some of their like most integral pieces to the way they played. John Stones has started 8 games this season. He's been out the whole season. Now, you'd agree with me. Like, why do teams like strikers to drop deep? It's just to give them that extra body to win the midfield battle, because the striker drops deep, turns it into, I don't know, turns a 2 to a 3-man midfield, a 3-man midfield to a 4-man midfield. Last year, what they done was, Haaland, you can't drop deep. So somebody now has to step forward. There's a reason why John Stones would, on paper, be a centre half, but step into midfield with Rodri. Has John Stones been there this year? No. So now the centre half can't step forward. The striker can't drop deep. Do you still have the ball retaining winger? Grealish has started 6 games this year. I watched the game against Palace, and I'll be real.
He was the best player on the pitch.
Performances.
Yeah.
Because he's got that chemistry with Haaland and KDB.
Yeah.
John Stones was back into the team. They played like the City of last year because they had those important pieces. With this year,
but Jack's been fit and on the bench, bro. He has been. People talk about injuries. He was fit and on the bench, bro. And I had this conversation already with Daps, bro. Like, Pep wasn't playing him. So they're using this injury excuse. The Brer's been fit and on the bench multiple times, bro. There's rumors saying that when Pep was away, Jack Grealish like went to some festival or something like that and fell out with Pep, and Pep dropped him. So all of this injury bollocks, bro. No. He has had an injury, yeah, cool. But the guy's been fit and not being selected, bro, from the start of the season. He wasn't injured all season. He hasn't been starting because the manager chose to not start him.
No, yeah, as in there's been injuries, and then from what like Pep has said, because listen, at the end of the day, me and you don't know the truth in it. He said like he hasn't played because his performances haven't been the best. If he wants to get
that's
back
what he said.
Yeah,
that's what he said. He said performances. He didn't say nothing about no injuries.
No, but I mean, like throughout the season, we have also known when like Grealish has been injured. But like the point is, that's more like an internal issue at City. The point is, if Grealish had been, let's say, fully fit from the start, didn't go to that festival or whatever happened, I guarantee you Doku would have been doing cameo minutes off the bench, because everything worked last year. The only thing that was missing that they had last year was KDB. KDB got injured game week 1 against Burnley. But the funny thing is, like somebody's literally stepped up in his place, carried that mantle, and said, "Safe, I'm gonna be the guy that creates chances that KDB was creating, but in a more efficient manner." Phil Foden. I'm also gonna chip in with goals. Phil Foden. So I just look at them and feel I don't want to like sympathize for them because I don't like them, but it's just like poor recruitment, injuries. But that's where I looked at Pep and I was like, you tweaked your whole team to accommodate a 9 that was poor technically, but most importantly, you still played to his strength. So when you look at City, they play to Grealish and them man's They play to their
They
strengths.
play to Haaland's strengths but at the expense of other players.
I look
do.
at it differently. I'd say they still play to like Grealish and those types of players' strengths from a technical standpoint, but at the same time, they still play for Haaland. So in a sense,
Yeah, I don't agree that they play to Grealish strengths at all, because if they play to Grealish strengths, yeah, then they don't struggle against low blocks, because Grealish will win you the game against these teams. Grealish strengths are being able to think on his feet. He's not allowed to do that in the Pep system. So I don't agree that they play to Grealish strengths. I think that they more play to someone like Phil Foden's strengths, because Phil Foden wants to play in between the lines, play little one touch, bounces, spin off, and all these other things. And even to a certain degree, I feel like Phil Foden is held back a little bit in this system. I don't think any true creative players, their strengths are being played to. He doesn't play to Bernardo's strengths. Bernardo's a very restricted player in this system. Because Bernardo's very physical, he uses Bernardo almost like a multifunctional player. He uses him like he's Philip Neville, bro. I find it very disrespectful how he uses Bernardo Silva. Like, when you need a goal against Arsenal, you move Bernardo into the pivot. It's like, bro, he's your most gifted technical player and you take him furthest away from the goal. To me, that doesn't make sense. So I would argue that he's got a lot of 9 out of 10 players that he's getting 7s out of to try and get goals out of Erling. That's how I interpret Pep Guardiola's football. I interpret it the complete opposite way to you. I feel like even though Erling Haaland is scoring goals, if somebody can get me the amount of goals that City scored in the league the last 3 seasons before Erling and now, I feel like there's not a big difference in the number of goals that they score with him in the team and without him as a general team. And don't get me wrong, I could be wrong, but I seriously doubt it, because goals in football is like energy, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't create energy, you don't destroy energy, you just transfer energy, bro. That's just what happens, bro. And goals always find a way of popping up somewhere else. I don't believe Erling's come in and added 30, 40 goals to Man City's overall output. I don't believe that's the case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't believe that's the case. So, because of that, what he takes out of the team, I think is way too much compared to what he adds to the team. I don't think he adds enough to the team with his goals to justify stifling players like Jack, stifling players like Bernardo, stifling players like Phil to a certain degree. I don't think he gives enough.
You know what it is? I just checked it. In the past 5 years, only the season before the treble was Haaland there. No, he wasn't. Only the season before the treble season did they score more goals than the goals they scored in the treble season. But the 4 years before that, they always scored less. But it's close. Like, I'll give you that one. As in, like, it's like 10, 15, 20 goals apart. But it's like, I hear you what you mean, which is like some of these players have to like tweak their games in order to accommodate an Erling Haaland. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, football is a team game, because especially when you split the roles. Haaland is a better goal scorer than Grealish. Haaland is a better goal scorer than KDB. Just the same as Grealish is a better ball retainer than Haaland. KDB is a better chance creator than Haaland. And you just play to your players' strengths. And I think the reason why maybe some of their levels of output have decreased is, you have to bear in mind, like, this was a Manchester City team that in the past few years had 5 men scoring double digits. Sterling double digits, Gabriel Jesus double digits, KDB double digits, Gundogan double digits, Foden, Grealish, Haaland double digits. You look at them this year, Phil Foden's the only real goal scorer in that team. Like, Phil Foden.
Yeah, but that's because of Erling, though, bro. I said the same thing about CR7. When CR7 came in, I said it. I said, no one else is scoring goals. I said it before he came in. And everyone was saying, no, bro. No one else is scoring. Like, this is how football works, bro. Because I'm a firm believer in it doesn't matter who scores, as long as we score and we win the game. I don't care if Erling scores 50 goals. If the team overall score less goals, which is what happened with CR7, He got 17 or 18 Premier League goals. I think he scored over 20 goals in all competitions, 20, 25 goals, but the team scored less goals as a collective and finished on the lowest amount of points. So it doesn't matter who scores the goals. So that is my argument. I would rather get a 9 out of 10 out of Jack, a 9 out of 10, or 8 out of 10 out of Phil, or a 9 out of 10 out of Phil, a 9 out of 10 out of Bernardo, because all these guys are better footballers.
But do you know what it is? It's like you use the Ronnie example, yeah. Like, fair enough. Maybe your point over like a large enough sample size.
No, but I'm using the Ronnie example as a thing. When you have a player that you have to play for, and their only real strengths are scoring goals, it's not enough.
No, that is true, because then you become reliant on that one individual.
Precisely.
The only reason why that particular example I don't agree with is because, bro, we sat down and watched that season. The man didn't play. Like, the man were not looking for the cross. They were still cutting in and shooting. Like, Rashford scored 3 goals that entire season. Yeah. And it wasn't because Rashford decided to sacrifice his game for Ronaldo. No, bro. Like, all of the leaks and the problems that were happening is because you got a striker there that's saying, fam, feed me. But then you've got wingers there that are saying, I don't want to feed you. I still want to get my joy of football, which is to score goals. That's why, like, it was just a recipe for failure. But I do agree, which is one outlet is not as good as 5. And that's why, like, for example, Man City Centurions, the reason why they were amazing is because Sane double digits, Sterling double digits, Aguero double digits, KDB double digits, Gundo, was Yaya there? No, I don't think he was. But they had more than one goal scorer, yeah. And it's like, for example, that's why I think like Arsenal done well last year. I don't like this year. You could also make the case, but Arsenal last year,
Arsenal still spread their goals out amongst players even now because Kai Havertz isn't a striker.
Last year they had 5 men, and the crazy thing is, I think 4 of them were like wingers, like midfielders. The number 9 only hit double digits towards the end of the season. Saka hit double digits by like April. Martinelli was on double digits by like March. Odegaard, I swear Odegaard hit like 15 last year or something. So
yeah, he did. He scored his most amount.
It's always good, isn't it? Because like if Saka has a stinker, you know Odegaard is there. If Odegaard has a stinker, you know Martinelli is there. With Manchester United, you can always get like wingers that can do both. The problem is our wingers can only do one. So for example, Rashford can only score. But even then, does he score enough? No. But
that's why he's not good enough as well. Like, that's why I put Rashford in the same bracket as I put these other players like Erling, like Garnacho and everything. For me, yeah, we live in a post number 9 era of football, innit? Because of systems. The systems now dictate, yeah, that you need pivots all over the pitch. The number 9's a pivot, and he's the first line of defense because a lot of people are pressing now. So I believe that we live in a post number 9 era of football. If you don't have basic fundamentals and you're able to play as a pivot with your back to goal, and you can't be a focal point, then you can't really be a number 9 in this era, bro. Not really, without taking away from the rest of the team. So like this comment saying that, yeah, but City won the treble, so it worked. That's not the point. That's not actually the point, because that's a very short-sighted way of looking at it. Because City won the treble, yeah, because they had way better players than everyone else. That's what it came down to. And as soon as City's player quality has declined, so have they. They can no longer afford to carry players the way they could afford to carry players last season because they don't have the depth, bro. You lost Rodri, and then they lost like 3 or 4 games in that month. One player. So it shows that they didn't have Gundogan to step in for Rodri. So this is the problem. This is the problem with City. They've had volume, they've had a lot of quality and depth, which has been able to paper over certain cracks. I don't believe we now live in an era, yeah, where you can pick up the tab for 1 or 2 players. You used to be able to do that because it wasn't a system game. But now it's a system game, and systems are very much about creating overloads and exploiting 2v1s, 3v2s. I don't believe that you can play without 11 players anymore. Like, teams are even using their goalkeeper now. So they're actually playing with 11. So I don't believe that we're in an era of football now because of the systems where we can afford to be playing 11 versus 9 out of possession. because you'll get killed. You'll get killed by a team that's using 11. And then on top of that, the technical level of these players in general, like technical security, is not as good as it has been either, because it's more of an athlete's game now. So you're getting players that are less technically secure, and you're also getting players that are fitter. So they're running more, they're covering more ground. So if you've got a fit team, yeah, that's playing, and you're playing against 11 fit players, and you're playing with 9 fit players, you're in trouble, bro. You're in trouble in the big games, because as many goals as Erling scored, he didn't score in no finals. I don't think he scored in any semis either.
His last goals came in the quarters.
But there you go. Because the tougher the opposition got, the more he wasn't effective.
Yeah, but bro, like this is the same guy that I think scored against every single team in the Premier League last.
Yeah, but Haj, that doesn't matter though. That doesn't matter.
No, but bro, of course it does.
But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter.
Why?
Because as a team, they still scored more goals without him. So the fact that he scored in all those games doesn't matter. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't matter who scores the goals. I'll argue that till the cows come home. I don't care who scores the goals.
No, I get that. And it's like there was, that one season where they did, well, to be fair, they only scored like 5 goals more. It was 94 to 99. But like the 4 seasons before that, but you could also even like flip it and say, like we always talk about having good strikers that can like occupy centre half because it creates space for like other players to get into.
Do you believe that he occupies centre halves by not touching the ball?
No, but as in, bro, he doesn't. But you can always occupy a centre half without touching the ball. Like Weghorst done it for Man United. I remember Weghorst.
But Weghorst moves a lot more than he does.
Yeah, but I'm saying, bro, like at the end of the day, just being there puts a centre half in that state of mind where, do I leave him and go close down the shot? But if I do leave him, I've now left literally. He's not clinical. That's one thing I'll forever say. For me, Erling Haaland is not clinical. To be fair, I've always said like I still have Harry Kane ahead of Erling Haaland as a striker. But the guy knows how to put the ball into the back of net. And the one thing I always give him is his movement in the final third is very good. He's just not clinical. But City, and I do agree with you in a sense, which is only certain teams can afford to play a very dominant style of football with one weak link from a technical standpoint. It's very similar to how like some teams are so dominant, but then you look at their keeper, can't play out from the back. So they accept 10 man are going to have to step up and compensate for that keeper's poor ball distribution. With City, they were like, cool, put retainers around him, put chance creators. At the end of the day, you're feeding a guy that scored goals for fun in Austria, I'm pretty certain he's got more goals than games at Borussia Dortmund. He scores goals for fun at City. Like that type of profile, bro, you take it on the chin. Like if he was a 10-goal striker, and now I'm here telling you, Rants, we need to tweak the whole team for a 10-goal striker, you'd be like, Haj, what the fuck? Like, what is 10 goals?
No, but this was my argument. This is my exact argument with you with Rasmus Hojlund, and that's why we've gone full circle. This was the point. I was like, this brother has scored so many goals in places that he's been at that you could justify Pep tweaking the system for him. But you can't justify Man United signing Rasmus in the first place based on his numbers because they're bang average, to say the least. They're not even average. They're below average for someone of where he's come from. But also, he doesn't have any strengths. So, like, for instance, like you said, with Erling, you say, you know what? Put the ball in the mixer because XYZ. Rasmus ain't even good enough at finishing in the air or one-touch finishing, or his movement in the box isn't even good enough to say, you know what? We're going to play to get feeding him. Because he's not a proven goal scorer either. And this is where my problem with him is. Like, outside of his athleticism, he's not really shown me anything that I can say, this is his game. This is what we need to play. This is what we need to play to. Because even him, he's supposed to be one of the quickest players in the league, Haj. Have you seen his pace at any point this season?
Yeah, at times. But we don't...
No, but really, though. Have you really looked at him? Obviously, we know he can run, yeah? But, bro, have we ever looked at him and said, yo, this guy's blistering, he's scary? Bro, this guy doesn't even know how to position himself in order to use his pace. If you watch someone like Nicholas Jackson, for instance, yeah, and the way he drifts for Chelsea and the way he links the play and he drifts out wide, he uses his pace. He puts himself in positions on the pitch to utilize his pace. Hojlund, for someone as quick as he's supposed to be, yeah, he doesn't put himself in positions to actually exploit his pace. He doesn't, because he's always backing into centre backs. You can't use your pace there.
Yeah, but bro, you literally just said it yourself. As in, if I'm gonna utilize his pace, I want him to be facing play similar to what he did against Galatasaray. If I'm using him as a target man, he will never be in an area to show me his pace. But with the Haaland comparison, we also agreed City play to Haaland's strengths. But half an hour ago, bro, me and you both sat down and said we don't play to Haaland's strengths. But
No, but
output,
I'm
I
saying
get.
he doesn't play to his own strengths, bro. Forget us,
Mm.
because he doesn't play to his own strengths. It's literally down to you as a player, yeah, to play to your strengths in football. That's literally your job. So as much as you're playing as a target man, yeah, we understand that football is a fluid game and it's ever changing. There are times in transition where Hojlund could make certain runs to utilize his pace. He doesn't. He's not a smart player.
You know what it is when it comes to Hojlund, it's like, oh, we both agreed. Do we play to his strengths? No. Is he the finished product? No. Will he ever be like, fam? In 2 years' time, me and you might be sat here, and I'll be like, you know what? Fair enough. On the 8th of April, you told me you had doubts over him. He didn't live up to it. At the end of the day, I'll be real. Like, firstly, comparing him to Erling Haaland, I get it from a technical point, but like, this is an Erling Haaland that's got like 5-6 years on Hojlund, yeah. But Hojlund, I do feel like his development was slow. Now, why? I don't know, because the fact that he only had his breakthrough season at the age of 20, what happened? Where like, why was it so late?
It's because he wasn't that good, Hadj. That's why.
Yeah, but bro, so many players have like, it's not that late, but so many players have like
No, but it's late for
potential.
someone that's coming from where he was. He was in Denmark, bro. The population's like 3 mil or something like that. Yeah. Like, bro, like look at Erdegaard, for instance. Yeah. Like, if
Mm.
you're an exceptional player and you're in that part of the world, yeah, brother, like you're leaving early, blood. There's none of this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, even in Denmark, like Ericsson was going Ajax and them thing there. You don't go from Copenhagen to Sturm if you're outstanding. You don't. That's not what happens. Ericsson went to Ajax, bro.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
you
but
don't
bro,
go Sturm, bro.
yeah, but bro, you can say that about him. Okay, that's like me saying a player that you like. Yeah, I've been told he went to Scunthorpe and Newcastle and stank the gaff out, and then finally
No,
at
but
Brentford
yeah,
at
but bro,
25.
Newcastle, bro. But Newcastle are a big club, bro. And it just
Mhm.
didn't work out for man. But he went to Newcastle, bro. Newcastle's a big club, bro.
But it didn't
It's
work
not
out at
Sturm
Scunthorpe
bro.
either. It didn't work
It's
out at
not Sturm.
Scunthorpe either, bro.
Bro, it's not the same equivalency, bro. We're talking about England, bro. Football's a lot more competitive in England, bro, than it is, bro.
Mhm.
I think even handball's a bigger sport in Denmark than football, bro. So, like, it's not the same equivalency, bro. It's not the same equivalency.
Yeah,
Football's
but
way more competitive in the United Kingdom.
no, I get that. But at the end of the day, even then, making it from Denmark to an Atalanta, starting for an Atalanta, like Atalanta are no scrubs in Italy. That is a
He
good
wasn't even
team.
starting there though all the time, bro. He wasn't a guaranteed starter, bro. And remember, we're talking about a player that Man United have
Mm.
spent 70 odd million on. So even the Ivan Toney comparisons again, yeah, it doesn't really work, because this is a brother that in about 3 or 4 seasons maybe, has gone from FC Copenhagen to 70 odd million at Man United, and he's done nothing.
When
Like,
it
it
comes to
makes no
price
sense.
tag, that's got nothing to do with me and you. That comes down to Man
No,
United.
but between price tag and the fact that he's starting for Man United, you have to look at the size of the club. You have to
Mhm.
look at how much we paid, and we have to look at what he'd done before. Like, even when you said, for instance, you rate him, but you don't rate Casemiro. The reason why Casemiro will always get the benefit of the doubt for me is because of his body of work beforehand, and as much as what he's done as far as last season. Without Cas last season, we don't win a trophy. So when I look, yeah, at what Cass done for us last season, yeah, I also look at the fact that there's been a very obvious system change at the club this season that has made a lot of people struggle, because Rashford went
Mhm.
from scoring X amount of goals to now he can't score no more. Cass is not the only player that's not benefiting from this system change. So I've seen enough, so I can say, you know what, Casemiro is not the problem. With Hojlund, the same leniency cannot be afforded to him because he doesn't have a body of work.
So you said like, oh, like let's just put it out there. The reason why I don't rate Casemiro is because I think he's been like trash this whole season. But we both, and you mentioned it, system change doesn't play to his strengths. That's the exact same way I look at Hojlund. And the reason why people respect Casemiro very highly is like you said, because of what he had done in a Porto shirt, what he had
No,
done in the Real
yeah,
Madrid
yeah,
shirt.
even last season, what he done in the Man United shirt though.
Yeah, no, cool. But Hojlund wasn't here last year. So it's
I hear
like,
that.
compared
Yeah,
to
he
Hojlund,
was somewhere else warming the bench. He wasn't even good enough to start there.
bro, at the end of the day, over there, like he did for a guy in his breakthrough season, he done well. Like, I'll be real, 9 goals in Serie A. Is it Man United standards? Like, is that what the go-to point of debate is? Is it Man United standards? No. But is there
Right.
anyone in this team that's living up to Man United standards? No, even Casemiro. Yeah, none of them.
Mm.
But I'm saying I always look at Hojlund and feel like I will never get onto him. I will never ever criticize him because similar to how you like Jaden. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
think Jaden is like the misunderstood profile, the guy that come to Man United. We didn't build around him. We didn't put the right pieces and this and that. As much as I think Jaden stank it out, I always in the back of my head say, you know what? Fair enough. I knew what type of player he was at Dortmund, and I knew who we got at Man United and how we utilized him. That's the exact same way I look at Holland. And the funny thing is, we can always turn around and say, real talk, like if let's say we had tweaked this entire team for Jaden, how good do you think he would have been? Because German league
Hold
to
on,
the
but
Premier League,
how can you
he's
compare
incredible.
Jaden to Rasmus? Yeah, a Jaden that's played multiple years of
Mhm.
Champions League football, been one of the most exceptional players under 21, like in recent history, compared to Rasmus Hojlund, who hasn't done anything. Again, Jaden had a body of work when he came to Manchester United. Hojlund didn't, so I can't back Hojlund based on he has no body of work. He has none.
Well, that's cool, but it's like that body of work still didn't help him from stinking out the joint. So do you see what I mean? Body of work or not, he came and he done poorly at Man United for 3 years. Casemiro, one good season, fallen
Mm.
off a cliff this season. So body of work, it's like nice to look back on. Like to be fair, I get what you mean, which is like you'd always look at Sancho and be like, fam, he ain't that bad. Look at what he done at Dortmund. Look at what he done this. Look at like it gives you that hope. With Hojlund, I understand people don't have that hope because they're like, what did he do at Atalanta? What, 9 goals? But I always look at it and be like, different leagues, different teams. You're only as good as the system. The system exposed Sancho, and we all backed him in that sense. I just don't back him from a mental standpoint where I'm like, I don't think you have the attitude for it. Hojlund, I look at him and I'm like, we're not even playing to the way that got the best out of you at Atalanta. So I can't cook you. If we ever do, and he's shit, I'll come out here. I don't give a shit. I'll happily put up my hand at times and be like, yo, I was wrong. Like I wouldn't try and like flip the corner. But at the moment, man's using a target man. That's not a target man. So
I
I
hear
can't.
that.
I can't get
I
onto
hear
that.
that, but then we could. I had the same argument for Lukaku as well. We used him as a target man when he wasn't a target man. But even so, he still scored 20 something goals or something like that, even though he was stinking the joint out in terms of his performances. And even the Sancho thing, yeah, I think that the Sancho thing is extremely disingenuous. And the reason
Mhm.
why, yeah, I think the Sancho thing is disingenuous because people are saying the Sancho stank out the joint. Sancho never stank out the joint because even Sancho's worst performances were better than the performances we're getting from Garnacho and Rashford every week. They were, factually. But the problem is, yeah, Sancho gets held at a higher esteem than everyone else in the team. Just like they did with Pogba. Like Pogba's stinking out the gaff was nowhere near as bad as Bruno stinking out the gaff. A Pogba 6 is a Bruno 9.
No, that's
So
true.
so when we were getting Pogba 6s, yeah, people were saying that yo, he's stinking out the gaff, but he was outperforming Bruno every game in terms of ground covered, in terms of everything, bro, in terms of ability and passing, all these other things. Like we're seeing, yeah, the only game I remember Sancho actually being horrendous was that Chelsea game where even I was saying, yo, get him off the pitch. Other than that, I don't remember seeing Jadon Sancho dribbling the ball off the pitch for us, running into defenders and all that. That's what Garnacho and Rashford do every week. No one talking about it. No one talks about it, bro.
No. The reason why no one talks about it, and you literally mentioned it yourself, which is a Sancho 6 is like a Rashford 8. Yeah. But at the end of the day, why did everybody have those high expectations and high standards? Because I fall into that
Because
bracket.
he's a better player.
There you go. So, bro, you see when I'm watching Sancho and I'm watching him struggle, and then I watch Garnacho struggle, I'm like, cool. I didn't even know who Garnacho was last year. Like, as far as I know, he came from Atletico Madrid. Like, he wasn't even guaranteed a Man United career. I look at Rashford and I'm like, if it wasn't for a Martial and Rooney injury in a Europa League game, you might not even be here. But then I look at Jaden and I look at what he done in the yellow kit, and then he comes to Man United, and I'm like, brother, like, what is this? And the only reason why I feel like people always say a Jaden performance will always be better than a Rashford is because of just how different of players they are. Like, you literally
Because
go
he's a
from
better footballer.
better footballer, but I mean, at the end of the day, in regards to like having an impact on games, Jaden didn't have impact on games. Like, he just helped the team retain the ball. Now that's good,
But that is having an impact, bro.
but
Because if
that's
you
the
keep giving the
basics.
ball away, like what Bruno's doing, you're having
Mm.
an impact, a negative one, because you're giving the ball back to the other team. So you're still having an impact.
No, 100%. But
Look at the
it's the
amount of goals we
basics.
conceded off Bruno giving the ball away, bro.
But it's still the basics, bro. Like, it's like when I sit down, I can't remember the last time I was on, but like what I
But
said
it's
to
not
you.
really the basics anymore, though. It's not the basics. It's not the basics.
So,
Because
as
if
in, do
that's
you
the
mean at Man
basics, then
United or at
no,
football in general?
just it's not the basics at Man United. Because if you're saying the basics is retaining the ball, yeah, then that means our whole team's not doing the basics, bar Jaden and Anthony. And they're the ones that get slandered in our attack because they don't take players on.
Cool. Now that you've said that, when I was on like 2 weeks ago, I was like to you, yo, Rants, praise Garnacho because he gave us fight and he ran the whole minute. You were like to me, now, bro, that's the basics. A player retaining the ball is the basics, bro. You see what I mean? It's the same thing.
No, but what you're understanding is, yeah, what you're understanding is, I don't praise them guys for retaining the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't praise them for retaining the ball because that is the basics to me. But I'm
Okay.
saying these men are not doing the basics in possession, but they get leeway. But the men that are doing the basics don't. Do you
Okay, they
understand
don't
what
get
I'm
leeway
saying?
from me. They don't
Bro,
get
the
leeway
thing
from
is,
me.
yeah, people don't like Sancho, yeah, because they don't like the way he plays. It's not because he's not good, because these men think that players getting the ball and running at defenders, yeah, means that you're having a good game. Them man want to look at stats like, oh, this guy had this attempted take-ons or this take-ons. That shit don't mean nothing, bro. That shit don't mean nothing at all, bro. Because even when I watch Jack, yeah, Jack Grealish is playing within himself at Man City. Within himself. Massively within himself. Like, he's not even a fraction of the player that I know he is.
Mm.
So you can only judge him, yeah, on what he's doing, yeah, in the system. So when man turn around and say, oh, Rants don't know ball because he rates Grealish. Nah, if you don't rate Grealish, you don't know ball. Because Jack is playing, yeah, at a 6 out of 10 in that system because that's what the system allows him to. That's it. And it's the same with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho can't play above a 6 in that Man United system because there's not people around him for him to show his real flair. His real flair, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, is linking up with players. He wants to play the ball off players. Watch him at Dortmund,
Mm-hmm.
Champions League, whatever. He's drifting inside, flicking the ball around people, bouncing it off them, getting it back. Even when he's on the wing, what does Sancho do? He gets his head up, passes it into someone, and then he drifts inside. He scores goals like that. But he don't have players on his wavelength to do that. So it's one of them things where he can't play above a certain level, yeah, in that team because the team doesn't allow it. But that doesn't make him a bad player. Say he doesn't suit the system, which is completely different. Do you know what I'm saying? But what I'm seeing from Hojlund, technically, I'm seeing bad things. What I'm seeing from Garnacho and Rashford, I'm seeing technical bad things. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not down to just decision making. I'm seeing technical deficiencies.
No, I get what you're saying, yeah. And it's like, I've never come out and said Sancho is shit because of this and this. And I've always said my biggest issue with him has always been like, I just don't see that hunger, that fight in him because I don't think he's as bad as he showed me in a Manchester United top. And I was probably one of the most disappointed guys in him because I had some crazy takes when we signed him of how much like I rated him and how much I thought he was going to be Man United's winger for the next decade. And then I watched him and I was like, brother, what is this? Like, you haven't lived up to my expectations. And you know what it is? As fans, we always have different expectations of different players. Like Dan James, I had zero expectations because I was like, what is he? 15 million from Swansea or from wherever we signed him? I was like, I'm not expecting anything from this guy. So when he didn't live up to it, I wasn't really that disappointed. I was more disappointed with Man United for signing him. So with
Mhm.
Sancho, fair enough, we signed him. He had sky high expectations. In my opinion, he didn't live up to it. And I will forever say, I don't fully pin it on the club only. For me, it's a 50-50 split. I feel like for some reason, we probably gave him too much too early and he lost that fight. He lost that hunger. But also, Sancho with a Wan-Bissaka is not the same as Sancho with a Hakimi. I keep it fair in that sense. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you signed a player that was utilized in a certain way. You brought him to Man United and you didn't utilize him that way. That's the exact same way I look at Hojlund. And it's the exact same way you look at Casemiro. Casemiro at Real Madrid wasn't this phase one specialist and this and that. Man United, hey, received the ball on the half turn. He can't do it. So that's why, like with Hojlund, I'm just like, until you use him the way Atalanta used him and got something out of him, I'm not gonna get onto him. But I will still like raise the questions, which is, yo, why are you dropping to the floor? Yo, learn to play with your back to goal. I keep it fair like that, but I just think like the way you just cook him without like seeing the environment he's in, the players he's
Oh
around, the
no,
way he's
because
being used.
I see the environment, but my thing is, yeah, even if you're playing out of your comfort zone, the basics still need to be there. They still need to be there. Because like even with the funny thing is, even with Casemiro, yeah, for instance, use Cas as an example. Since he's been at Man United, he's never played in the same environment or the system that he played in Real Madrid. But in the big moments, this fucker still turns up with goals. There's certain elements with Casemiro, yeah, where he's striking of the ball and all of these things. He can still play these passes, bro. Like he gives the ball away when he gets pressed and all these other things. But bro, still attacking set pieces. He still shows who he is, bro. Like in moments, you can still see glimpses. It's the same with Pogba. Even when Pogba was drowning at times in the midfield by himself, he would play a pass where you'd say, wow. Or he would do something and you'd say, wow. Or he would score a goal and you'll say, wow. Do you know what I mean? These men show little glimpses of who they are still. Like with Hojlund, he's not showing me anything, bro. He's not showing me nothing at the moment. Even when things aren't going his way, show me something. Show me a glimpse. Pick up the ball and just run past someone or just do something or drift out wide. And that's why I compare him a lot to Nicholas Jackson. They're both in their first season in the Prem. One player someone was saying was an absolute scrub. Everyone was saying Jackson was rubbish. Jackson's got way more to his game than Hojlund. When you watch how he links the play, how he receives the ball, touches it round players and does stuff like that. He's got way more to his game. And he plays centrally, but he drifts out wide. He does all these things. He tries to get himself into the game and he finds ways to impact the game by not just standing and wrestling with players. Because Ten Hag ain't telling him to wrestle with, man. It's impossible. Like no manager says stand and wrestle with defenders. No manager says that. Because Haaland stands on the last man. He don't wrestle.
Do you know what it is? It's like different nines, different prop. Like, for example, you wouldn't compare Jackson to Haaland. Two very different number strikers, in it. But with Haaland, he gets his praise because he puts the ball into the back of the net 100 times more than a Jackson.
So what mode would you say that Rasmus is in? Because I'm saying for me,
Rasmus the Haaland bracket.
But Haaland doesn't physically tussle with centre half. So again, that's a choice that he makes. This is my point.
Yeah, but bro, that's because City don't use Haaland as a target, man. They just leave him there. Like, just actually, now, you know what my thing is? I guess
but they do play in. Yeah, but we don't really play into him directly. We more play into our wingers than we do into Hojlund, and that's why people saying he doesn't get the ball. He's not the focal point of the attack. He's not. Our focal point is getting the ball out wide. It always has been.
Yeah, like of course, like the focal point isn't always going to be a good. Like we don't always. It's not always to the wingers. It gets predictable. Like it's like similar to City. It's not always too Grealish. Sometimes it's too Foden. Sometimes, but I'm saying with Haaland, with Hojlund, a lot of times this year we have launched it into him, and I'm just like, he can't do it. He can't do it. Either teach him how to do it, or start to play in a different way. We haven't, and he's come under the criticism. But that's why I've always looked at the manager. The same thing with City. When City stank it out against Arsenal last week, and they actually tried to use Haaland as the focal point, drop deep. He stank it out. He got bullied by Gabriel. Even City fans were cooking him after the game. They're like, bro, what kind of shit performance was that? I looked at it and I was like, cool. He can't do it. Why are you asking him to do it? Yeah. So that's the way that I look at Hojlund. And you say like Hojlund hasn't really shown you those glimpses and this and that. Bro, the only 2 times I've seen Hojlund receive the ball, face him play, like in an area where he can do something, and you're thinking, listen, go show me why we paid X amount of money for you. Bro, he has. He had the ball face and play against West Ham, sat a defender down, laced it in the bottom corner. Got the ball on the halfway line against Galatasaray.
That West Ham came from Cass winning the ball back on a counter press, and it was just a quick instinctive thing. That was a good goal. I think that was probably one of his best goals.
It is his best goal. It is his best. But I mean, like, how many times have you seen other nines receive it, stumble, make the wrong pass, make the wrong shot? The fact that he took on a guy, executed it well, put it into the
just
back
done a fake shot and then struck it with the other thing. Yeah.
But I'm saying, bro, that is quality. Like, when I saw that, I was like, shit. I'll be honest.
But that's one thing, bro. We've seen Rashford do a million of those kind of things, and he's still rubbish. We can agree that.
No, that is true. But I'm saying, like, the way I look at
that's one glimpse in the whole season.
Yeah, but bro, as in, like, it's only been one season, and you have to bear in mind how many good moments have we had this season.
Yeah, but he plays 90 minutes every game. It's not like for instance, with Garnacho last season, he was coming off the bench and impacting, and I was like, cool, he's an impact player, use him like that. And now he starts every week. Most of the time, he doesn't have an impact like that, but at least he just does the passion thing and runs. So whatever. But with Hojlund, he plays 90 minutes nearly every game. So when you look at minutes played, you can say it's only his first season, but the guy's not been used like it's his first season. He plays every minute of every game.
No, that is true. And that was one of my first question marks when we signed him. I was like, I like Hojlund as an understudy. Go get me Harry Kane. Because I feel like the pressure is too much. But okay, we didn't do that. I guess we can't sit down and blame one another for that. But I mean, fair enough, he has been playing week in, week out. But it's like, bro, even then, like, I think somebody earlier on put it on. Like, Hojlund last game, like, what? 19 touches. Hojlund against Brentford, 13 touches. Like, you can't expect someone to do something without the ball. And even then, with the ball, get them in areas where they can do something. I'll be honest, giving Rasmus the ball on the halfway line with Lewis Dunk behind him, I don't expect anything. I don't expect anything because I've seen him get bullied by Luton defenders. But for me, I always look at Rasmus and I'm like, in and around the box, with time and space, show me what you can do. And bro, at times he has, and that's what gives me that bit of hope in him, which is like, maybe if we get a manager that works on your game, you can improve. There are a few things that we can like capitalize on. Like, you've got some strengths that we can work with. But at the moment, like, a system just exposes players' weaknesses. And every single player in our team has been exposed this year. Rasmus, Casemiro, Lisandro. That was the only one that's had a good campaign. But
I agree. The system as a whole has killed pretty much everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
That's why I genuinely believe, and I said it after the Liverpool game, yeah, if we get a proper coach, yeah, man for man, yeah, we can close the gap on Liverpool quite quickly. Because I don't think technically they're very good on the ball. Like, they lost the ball. They kept losing the ball. They were as wasteful as we were. And we should have beat them in it. And I think if we get a proper coach, I believe that we've got more talented players, yeah, throughout the whole squad, man for man, than they do. At least as good as them. So it's one of them ones where I think we can catch them. Liverpool on the ball are horrendous, bro. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend they're rubbish on the ball, bro.
Wait, so you think we've got a better like squad than Liverpool?
Yeah, bro. But Liverpool are using bare man from their academy because they have to, bro. They don't have the depth we have. And I'm not saying that these players are not good, because they are good, but bro, we got Ahmad that don't play. We got Sancho out on loan. Do you know what I'm saying? We got players that don't play, bro. Liverpool on the ball are not good, bro. Like, we got ballers like Ericsson that don't play. Soboslai, yeah, is dead food. I don't see the hype.
I don't rate him either. No.
He's dead food, bro. Endo's a good technical player, yeah, but he's not a world beater, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a Europa League player. Like, Liverpool got bare these Europa League, man, bro. So have we, bro. Like, I don't see no big difference between them and us. I really don't, apart from their coach. I believe if you give Ten Hag Liverpool, yeah, and you give Klopp Man United, we finish above Liverpool comfortably, bro. Ten Hag would have these man in the depths of hell. He would.
As in, you give Klopp who we have at the moment.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say it's because
we're not getting the best out of our players? Klopp is getting the best out of a lot of these players, if not all of them. Exactly. And Ten Hag's not getting the best out of these players, and they still can't beat us, bro.
Yeah, but even then, bro, like, I'll be honest, like, I've seen I've seen getting the best out of Rashford and what it equals to. It's nothing special. I've seen getting the best out of Bruno and this and that. Like that Liverpool team. Don't get me wrong. Klopp has had better teams. Like Klopp, I wouldn't say this is his best. Like even if he wins the league, I wouldn't say this is
it's not his best team. But what I'm saying is the gap between them in terms of ability and us, yeah, bro. The difference between the two teams is the systems and the manager. It's not players' ability because Liverpool are not 20 points better than us or whatever the points are. They're not. They're actually not, bro. Like our manager's massively underachieving and their manager's overachieving, and that's what the gap is. That's what the gap is. It's one team underachieving, one team overachieving. With these players, Klopp is overachieving, bro. Overachieving because they're not as good as their points tally suggests, bro. Many times this season they've scraped through. Like even against Sheffield United the other day, they scraped. They scraped it, bro. This Liverpool team's not great.
You know what it is? I think the only area of the pitch you can debate is probably attack. I think midfield, no. Oh, defense. The defense, they're back four. Shit,
Bro, but our defense is good, bro. Our defense is literally the best part of our team, bro.
Yeah, because our midfield and attack is crap. But for example,
but that's down to structure. That's not down to individuals. Like it's not down to individuals. It's down to structure, bro. Our defense is calm, bro.
Okay, so who you taking? Trent or Dallo?
Bro, it's not about who you would take, bro. I wouldn't take Trent from them because he just leaves bare gaps. I don't rate him.
Yeah,
I don't rate Trent, bro, as a right back. Bro, listen, I'll take the Northern Irish youth before I take Trent.
Yeah, but bro, it's like literally 5 minutes ago you were talking to me about like system, bro. So you're trying to tell me you wouldn't take Trent, and you know what Trent's weaknesses are, but you know what his strengths are,
bruv. I don't care because it comes down to systems, though. That's what you're talking about. I wouldn't take Trent as a right back, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't take him as a right back. I wouldn't, bro. We've got so many players, yeah, that we're not even utilizing, and players that we're not getting the best out of. Bruno's shit, but bro, I'm not taking Sobo over him because they're both shit. That's what I'm saying, and I'm not talking about man for man. Give me that player instead of that player. I'm talking about, bro, the team as a whole, blood. They are overperforming and we're underperforming. That's where the gap is. That's where the gap is. I'm not saying this player for that player, that player for that player. That's not how football works.
So are you just comparing them like every player from like a technical standpoint? Like we've got better.
That's what I'm saying. From a technical standpoint, yeah. Like when you look at all the players that we have and the availabilities we have an Ahmad that don't play.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? We have a Sancho that's not there. We have Eriksen that doesn't play. All these men that don't play, bro. Klopp is using guys from the youth team, bro. The guy's using kids, bro. We've got 20 odd international players that are not playing, bro. We're using a squad of like 14 man.
Okay, but like, okay, I get it from a technical standpoint.
Bro, the gap between our squad and their squad, yeah, is not a reflection on the points gap. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but bro, then that can be said about any team in the league.
No, it can't though. No, it can't.
So, for example, like I look at Newcastle. Newcastle don't deserve to be 10th or wherever they are. That's an amazing team, Newcastle. But
is it? No, it's an amazing squad, but with the injuries they've had, it's not an amazing team, bro.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like those are the things that happen in it. No. Even as a team, it's a good team. Like who would you not take at Newcastle?
What do you mean? Who would I not take? No,
like
it's easier for me to talk about who I would take. Do you know what I'm saying?
So who would you take?
I like Bruno G at Newcastle. I like Isak. I like what's his name? Gordon. But I don't love Gordon. Do you know what I'm saying? I just think Gordon's better than Rashford. But I don't love Gordon. I'm not looking at them saying I want Gordon. I like Livramento. And that's it. Like, I'm not looking at these men saying I want them. Like, it's not that. Like, I'll be real. It's not that. It's actually not that. Like, when I look at Liverpool, I'm not saying I want Nunes. I didn't want him. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I want Diaz because I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I look at their team, yeah, there's not really players where I'm saying, yeah, him, give me him. Like, not really. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that. The envy isn't there. We just need a proper coach to get the best out of the players we do have. And I think that sorts out all the problems. Genuinely. I genuinely think it's a coaching problem. Because even someone like a Harry Maguire, in a Zerbi system, yeah, his problems aren't as much of a problem.
He won't play. I'll be shocked if Maguire plays in the
No, but I'm just saying, like, he's not going to be a main centre back anyway. But Maguire's strengths are his passing. That's about it. And his aerial presence. That's it. He's got no athletic strengths. But his weaknesses, yeah, his weaknesses can be hidden in certain systems, bro. They can be. Like Cambuala, for instance, bro. He's a very good footballer. On the ball, he's very good. Very good. In a system where he's playing out from the back, Cambuala can come in and play for Man United because he's got the technical abilities and he's got the physicality. There's a lot of Man United players, yeah, that have. Same with Mason Mount. In a fucking De Zerbi system, yeah, where he's making third man runs, Mason Mount can be effective. So there's players there that we can get more out of. Mason Mount in a system where he's just running around is gonna be trash, bro. He's gonna be trash, bro. Like, we're not even getting 50% out of any of these footballers, Haj. And Klopp's getting 100 out of his players.
No, but Klopp is an elite coach.
But that's what I'm saying. If we get 100 out of our players and they're getting 100 out of theirs, I expect us to beat them. If we get 100 out of all of our players.
There's one thing that Klopp also gets, and it's not like from their technical ability. There's one thing that Klopp's always gotten from his team that no Man United manager has ever gotten. Oli never got it. Ten Hag never got it. Bro, these men don't run. They don't press. Like, as much as there's an importance to the technical side in football, there is also an importance to like the physical side of things. Like, Liverpool is a team that everyone's always said, like, yo, rock and roll football. Like, they're on inhalers. But
that's because he got the right profiles of players, though. He got the right profiles.
Okay.
And we didn't get the right profiles.
So then, if that's the case, bro, I don't think the system improves us. The system
it does, because it's a different. Of course it does, because it's also not just pressing, because Man United do press, but we press for 30 minutes and then we get tired because we don't understand how to press.
We don't understand how to press. And I'd say you could probably say that
about when to press.
You could probably say that about maybe like 3-4 of like the new additions, isn't it? For example, I've seen some players here for 5-6 years. I know they don't know how to press and they don't want to press. Like Ralph Rangnick should be the go-to example. Dude came in and said, I want to play 4-2-2. After 1 week, he was like, these men told me they don't want to play 4-2-2. We pressed 25 minutes against Crystal Palace. We never pressed again the whole half season that he was here. So we might have better.
He did also say they weren't fit enough to do it. So he did say that, but the manager's been here for nearly 2 years, so that doesn't count anymore. And he's got them running in training, Ten Hag. Okay. And he's got them running in training, yeah. He's battering them in training. And that's why all these guys are getting injured. So it's one of them things where not pressing is not the issue. It's knowing when to press, because United pressed against Liverpool for the first half an hour, then we got tired.
No, I know. But I'm saying the biggest difference for me between us and Liverpool, from technical side, I'll have to sit down and like think about it. Even though I still feel like in some areas they are just technically way better than us. Attack is open to debate, but they've got a fitter team. But a team that's also where, like, when you judge a player, don't just judge them technically. I always look at a player and be like, are you willing to put in a shift? I don't look at this Man United team, and even if they do press, but bro, we're a month away from the end of the season and we're still banging on about Man United can only press for 20 minutes.
But that's because they don't know how to press properly. Because pressing is not just about fitness.
No, I know 100%.
Pressing is about triggers, when to press, how to press, all these things. We don't press correctly, and also we don't even press collectively. This is why I say that these men don't know how to press. The reason why they get tired is because they're not pressing as a team, bro. So the likelihood of them forcing a turnover is very low because they're running when there's no triggers. Like, I'll see Bruno run 20 yards to press the goalkeeper. Like, why would you do that?
No. As in, like, yeah, 100%. But I'm saying that can be true But what I'm saying also can be true, because you're saying it comes down to coaching, which I do agree. Like triggers, knowing when to go, knowing when to sit, you go together, all of those stuff. Yeah, Rob Edwards is teaching that at Luton Town. That comes down to coaching. But I'm saying at the end of the day, as of now, we've never ever seen this team press correctly. So I don't look at these Man United players. So for example, it's like, I don't know if it's true. Someone said like Ruben Amorim is going to like Liverpool next year.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
If Amorim goes to Liverpool and by Christmas next year, Liverpool don't press, every Liverpool fan would come out. They wouldn't say, yo, we don't have players that are willing to press, because we've seen them for 5-6 years press. So it's Amorim's fault. I'm looking at Man United and I'm like, I haven't seen any of you, man, actually press for more than 20 minutes under Ten Hag, under Oli, under Ralph Rangnick. So I can't label you, man, as players that are willing to work hard. Cool, you might be good on the ball, but in the modern game, being good on the ball is not enough. Like you mentioned, City are the best on the ball, but Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden run more than anyone in the Premier League. So with Man United, like we're in that 50-50. And I personally sway towards, I think even if you teach these men how to press, I think their attitude and their arrogance wouldn't even allow them to do it for more than 20 minutes.
Well, see, that's why I disagree. I see what you're saying. I don't agree. I think too much is made of these footballers not wanting to do certain things, bro. Like, I don't think it's that, because there's different ways to press, as you know. Do you know what I'm saying? Even when you look at Arsenal's press, it's not the same as City's press. It's not the same as Brighton's press. It's not the same as Liverpool's press. You can be more compact and then react to pressing triggers. If you're a good coach, yeah, and you've got certain players and you say, you know what, they don't have the mobility to play this way, then you adapt to your players. And if you don't adapt to your players, then you buy players that can play your system. The manager has failed at both. He's failed at adapting to the players, and he's failed at identifying the right players to come in. So then can you really still blame the players after spending 400 million and we're still not a cohesive unit pressing or sitting off or doing anything? Can you still really blame the players?
I still would, because I've watched some of them for longer than Ten Hag. So like I had my question marks on Rashford like one season into Oli.
Oh, he's been lazy, Rashford, though. But the narrative was Martial was lazy.
Yeah, it's like what, like, so what happened like the other day? Not the other day, sorry, like a few months ago, when like they tried to cook Rashford on like Sky Sports, and then I think it was Roy Keane that said he's becoming another Martial. It's just,
yeah,
like when it comes to Rashford, there's always been somebody to take the blame instead of him. There was Pogba that took the slack, and there was Martial that took the slack.
They would say Pogba was lazy, but then you looked at his running stats and he was outrunning everyone.
Yeah, that's just how like the majority of people think. But it's like, for me, I still look at this team and think, this is why I want like a whole squad clear out, because I don't see much quality and I don't see much work. Like, this is what I mean when I say I want a culture change, because I feel like we've just got like a spoiled group of players that have been given everything in their careers, and now they can't accept somebody that like holds them accountable, or somebody that comes in and says, Luke Shaw, you're 28 years of old, you're 28 years of age, sorry. You better not let your body fat get to a certain level. You better run. You better do extra hours in the gym. I think these men will just turn around and be like, nah. Because they showed me they'll say nah under Rangnick. So that's why I don't back them in any way. Physical, technical. I don't back these men at all. I want them all gone.
No, 100%. The one thing I would say, Ralph did come out, and not even Ralph, Matic came out and said that the man them knew he wasn't staying, so they weren't really listening to him. And that shows that their attitude isn't good anyway. However, I agree. The culture shift needs to change. I think what that's happening, top to bottom culture shift. You know what I mean? The changes are happening at the top, and that will filter down to the players. Obviously, I know that you were big on the Zerbi, and that's what kind of made me start looking into him and stuff like that. And to be fair, yeah, his assistance at Nice, innit? So if that's anything to go by, especially with the increased De Zerbi links to Man United now, there were some new ones yesterday. Hopefully, we get our guy, blood, and then if we get him, then there's no more excuses.
Fam, your De Zerbi prop, yeah, it's putting my neck on the line, because everyone's telling me, had you fully convinced Rants on De Zerbi, so if it goes sideways, we're coming for you. And I'm like, fuck, fam.
Nah, bro, listen, at the end of the day, bro, like, I've looked into everything from, do you know what I mean, the box midfield to how he plays out, to how it has to be him. And the Nice link, yeah, could just be a coincidence. It could be, in it, but it's our owners, innit? And if that's the way they want their team to play football, then why would they not want Man United to play the same way? All the City Group teams play.
Nah,
They all
I
play.
think, especially with Amorim, if he goes to Liverpool, because Liverpool were looking at either Amorim or De Zerbi. If he goes, and then De Zerbi's left, and De Zerbi's already come out and hinted it this week, which he said, like, are you going to sign a new deal? And then he was like, I need to sit down at the end of the season, see what direction the club's going in. But at the moment, no. And I'll be honest, like, this guy's probably trying to hint out, I need cash. Brighton have never been that team. Brighton are a selling team. Yeah, it's all about developing players and letting them go. So I'll be real, like, the Zerbi will be fun, but it's like, I do have my question marks, but like, he is definitely, like, after Inzaghi, he is my number one. Like, well, he's my number two after Inzaghi.
Yeah, Inzaghi can play still, but it's just like,
He's not
I don't
attainable.
know. He's not attainable, but also I think the players that we have, like even a Hojlund, he'll flourish in that counter-attacking system, innit? Like, in terms of the way they attack, like a counter-attack. They attack at high speed, innit? And that would suit someone like Rasmus because he's got pace. He might actually use it. But dropping into midfield, that doesn't suit him. That's why Welbeck plays ahead of Ferguson. So it's like,
nah, he'd need. I actually want to see what type of changes he makes, because I actually think, like, you know what it is? Like, I'll ask you a question, because this is something I always say on stream and people always try to get on to me. Do you think Lisandro plays as a centre back for the Zerbi?
probably not. You know the ones that probably not.
Yeah, I think he plays him as a left back.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, so it'll be because, like, especially like with how, like, he likes one of his strikers to always drop deep. Like, that's why he loves João Pedro. I think that's definitely going to be a profile United would have to sign. Someone that can play central, but drop deep, but also have that, like, physicality to sometimes drift out wide. I don't know. It'll be fun, but I just hope he comes in and from the get-go, player A, player B, player C, no hard feelings. Like,
I think that's what happens, to be honest, bro. And you know what it is with Lisandro anyway. In the modern game, I don't think he's a centre back. I think he's an inverting left back, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think he is in the modern game, seeing how Arteta used Zinchenko and all these other things, and how what's his name, Jurriën Timber's been used and all that. I can see that now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think because of Lisandro's physicality, people are like, yeah, cool, he's a centre back, but a lot of the physicality is forced in it. It's not needed, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's just good on the ball. He's just good on the ball. Just let him play, bro.
Yeah, no. I think he'll always look at De Zerbi the same way. He'll always look at Lisandro the same way he looked at, like, Caicedo or like Pascal Gross, which is physically you guys lack. Because, like, Lisandro is aggressive, tenacious, but he is slow. Like, he's short
He's not quick.
And I think especially with De Zerbi, how he likes to play with, like, just two centre halves and they have to defend the flanks. Like, you look at Arsenal, they do the same, but they got Gabriel and Saliba. Liverpool got Konate and Van Dijk, like, physical animals. Lisandro would get murdered on the flanks. And that's why I've always said, I think left back on paper tucks into midfield, and that's where you play to his strengths, because
tucks into midfield and dictates from there.
There you go. So if he does stuff like that, I'd always be like, listen, at the end of the day, you saw what Lisandro's weaknesses were and you saw what his strengths were. And rather than playing to his weaknesses, you play to his strengths. And that's something that I'd always support in any manager.
No, facts. Hey, big up everyone inside. Make sure you subscribe to Hajball. The link is in the title. I'll wait until I see a few more sources for this Ashworth thing. But yeah, that should be wrapped up soon. Bro. Them man was saying 20 mil. They only paid, I believe, 6 mil. So 10 million is fair if we go and wrap up Ashworth for 10 mil. And then we're looking at obviously the Wilcox thing will get wrapped up as well, and then we're good to go into the summer. But it will be a summer without this manager. I'm confident of it. So, bruv, man, just have to write off the season. And you man already know it's ABA for me, anyone but Arsenal, blood. Like, that's what I am on, bro. I'm going to be wearing a Villa shirt. I'm going to be wearing a Chelsea shirt. I'm going to be wearing a Tottenham shirt, an Everton shirt. You get me? Until the end of the season, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, broski, It can't happen. You know,
It's
like that.
crazy.
It
Like,
can't happen, Angie. It can't happen. Me and my brother, bro. Like, listen, it's me and my brother are getting it worse than anyone. Like, no, it can't happen.
100%. Like,
It can't
it's
happen.
yeah, you and your brother will get it. And I think it's also like for example, you're a few years older than me, but it's like, bro, where I've grown up, I don't come across Liverpool City fans. I don't know any City fans, fam. So if City win it, as much as people want to say, fam, 4 in a row, no cap, I don't give a shit. I swear to God, I don't give a shit because like I ain't gonna hold it from anyone. Like no one's gonna come cook me for it. Arsenal, my entire friendship group is Arsenal fans, and bro, I'll be honest, the thing that just pisses me off the most is they actually look good. Like yo, like tribalism aside, brother, that defense of theirs is a joke.
Yeah, they just look strong, bro. It's not even good. They look strong. They look like no one's scoring, bro. That's the most concerning thing for me about it. Is last season, yeah, they look so shaky. I was laughing. I was like, they're dusted. You know what I'm saying? Last season, bro, I was telling these man mad early. I said, don't worry, these man are dusted. Because I saw the goals leaking and I was like, they can't keep this up. But bro, like these men are scoring set pieces. Like these men are not conceding. Like it's worrying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not, bruv, they're playing efficient football that you would associate with like prime Chelsea, where Chelsea were just hard to break down and they would just scumbag it 1-0 set piece, Lampard penalty or something. This is what they're looking like. Do you know what I mean? They're not even trying to play football no more. Even the Brighton game, bro. They started the Brighton game with 11 men behind the ball, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, them man were just waiting, bro. Like, just being mad pragmatic. And I was like, this is not what you expect from an Arsenal team. Like, the way they're setting up tactically now, yeah, it's not Arsenal-like, bro.
But you know what it is? It's like, I remember last year when they bottled it, I was like, they bottled it, it's funny. But like, I still gave them credit for it, where I was like, listen, sitting top of the league 93%, there's good in that, yeah. But now it's about overcoming that final hurdle. And I feel like where they've learned from last year was business end of the season. No one cares who scores or how you win. It could be you can win by own goals for the last 10 games of the season. The most important thing in the business end is the 3 points. And I think, yeah, bro, from now to the end of the season, these men will park buses. The man will stink it out. They don't need to play the fancy football that they've shown the whole world they can play. Yeah, they don't care who scores. 3 points is 3 points, and that's something that City have always done as well. But our business end of the season, they don't care. It's all about 3 points, and I'll be real, it's just their defense for me, because it's like Fergie said, a defense will win you a title, and these men are about to like break a Premier League clean sheet record, bro. Like yo, it's now, bro. I'll be real. That little trio,
they're doing a madness. The only thing that gives me hope that they're not gonna do it is if you look at Man City and Liverpool, yeah, they've drawn more games than Arsenal, which is the reason why they're behind them. Arsenal have lost more games. I think City have only lost 2 and Liverpool have lost 3. And with the difficult games that Arsenal have in this final run-in, I see draws in there. I see them dropping those points in it. And that's the reason why I think that the draws might be the reason why they don't do it. But they don't look like losing games, bro, right now. Like, I'll be real, they don't look like losing games. Like, when I'm looking at their run right now, I'm like, who beats them? Like, bro, give me a draw, bro. I'll take a draw against Arsenal at Old Trafford, because to me, they don't win the league if we draw against them. Because I think that City are going to win all their games between now and the end of the season. I genuinely think they will.
Arsenal do have the tougher end to the season, but I'll be honest, I'm looking at it right now.
They've got more teams that can take points off them. Not necessarily beat them, but take points. They've got Villa, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham. Man said Rants is a bit nervous, bro. It's not even that I'm nervous. I'm being realistic. They are not going to capitulate.
I can't lie to you. I think they'll beat Villa like comfortably, because even when they
think they'll beat Villa as well.
When they lost at Villa Park, I'll watch that game. They should have spanked them at least 4-0, but it's just I don't know what happened. Like it's just nothing failed.
Hold on, wasn't the Villa game the one they won at the last minute when the ball hit the bar, then hit the keeper?
It was disallowed. No, it was supposed to be a draw. But it was disallowed, so they ended up winning 1-0 from a McGinn goal. but they'll beat Villa. The only games I look at, they'll beat Chelsea. I think they'll beat Chelsea. I think it's just Tottenham.
I'm praying for
United.
Chelsea to get a draw, blood, because Chelsea always, bro, play as good as the other team. Chelsea cooked them earlier in the season and then died, remember?
The only thing that might help is that in the space of a week,
and they got Bayern twice as well.
In the space of a week, they'll play Wolves away. 3 days later, Chelsea, and then 4 days Tottenham.
Bro, man just need a draw, fam. I swear. I'm not even praying for them to lose, because bruv, the only team I see beating them this season is Bayern Munich. In Bayern. Other than that, I don't see them losing a game, bro. I swear.
Do you think they go through? Do you think they go through against Bayern?
I think they can go through by winning the game at their gaff. That's what I think. Because there's no fans. If Arsenal beat Bayern Munich 2-0 at home or by 2 goals, I think they're through, bro. Because I don't think they'll win in Germany, but they won't need to, bro. Arsenal can go there and get a 0-0. The Arsenal I'm seeing right now, can go to Germany and get a 0-0 if they want one, bro. Like, they'll go there and let them have the ball. The Arsenal I saw against Man City, I'd never seen that Arsenal before. I'd never seen it before, bro. Like, remember, I grew up in Wenger. So I haven't seen So I haven't grown up seeing an Arsenal team play like Chelsea, where they're like, you can have the ball. It's cool. We'll just sit here, just slide across. 4-4-2, slide across. And we're not even really going to press you. I ain't seen that. I haven't seen that in Arsenal. So
that's what you got to do, man. I'll be honest. Like, as much as it was a horrible game of football, like, I think if it was going to be Arsenal...
No, but that's what won Jose trophies, blood. I can't even hate on it.
No, you can't, because I think, you know what it is? I think it's because, like, in the past few years, we've gotten used to Liverpool and City going at it. And when them two played each other, zero respect was shown. I'm going to play my ball, you're going to play your ball, and we're just going to go at it. That's what made those games so good. I think with these two, it's... Listen, as much as I laughed at it and I was like, yo, you man should have won, it keeps them in the title race. Because, listen... But I'm just looking at City and just praying that they do what they've done for the past 3 years.
City are going to win every game, blood. I'll be real, Like, when Pep's rotating, smoked Villa, and then rested Foden and Bernardo, and then smoked Palace. Blood, listen. And it's one of them ones where also, I hope Real Madrid knock City out, blood. Because if Real Madrid knock City out, it's one of them ones that they ain't got to focus on the Champions League no more, blood. I'll be real. They just need to focus on the Prem and make sure Arsenal don't win. Because I can't have Arsenal win. I can't, bro. I'll be real. It's anyone but Arsenal. I'm not worried about Arsenal winning the Champions League. But this Premier League thing right now, I can't see them losing a game. I genuinely can't see it. I can see them drawing games though. But I can't see them losing a game. And even the games they draw, they probably have to concede first. Because if Arsenal score first, they're parking it, bro. They're parking it, bro.
City have very easy games. Only Tottenham. Tottenham away is the only.
That's what I'm saying. And Tottenham's their bogey team, so even that could be a draw. But it's like Man United and Tottenham are going to decide where this trophy goes. Because I think Tottenham play Liverpool, they play Arsenal, they play City, I think, and we play Arsenal. We just took points off Liverpool. So, bro, it could be them two teams. And even Chelsea as well. Even though Chelsea have been shit, it would be just like Chelsea, to be shit all season, and then take points off Arsenal.
I'll be honest.
This has been an amazing finish to the season. Regardless of what happens, I'm still relatively confident that Arsenal aren't going to win the league. However, I am genuinely terrified of the possibility because they look good enough to do it. That's the honest truth. They look good enough to do it.
Who, City?
This is the first time they look good enough.
Oh, Arsenal.
This is the first time they look good enough. Last season, they didn't look good enough. That's why I was laughing at them with 10 games to go. This season, they look good enough because they're pragmatic. They look like they're happy to go into a game and win 1-0. And that worries
me. They've learned from last year. Like there was like a sense of like naivety last year. The way they went about games, the way they used some players when they had injuries. The one thing why I always say, like, this season, it's been like an amazing title race because it's 3 teams. You hardly ever see 3 teams.
1 point between 3 is nuts.
But I think what's nice about it is, like, so many times you look at seasons and be like, one team fell off in April, injuries. All three of them have had big injuries this year. Haaland out for 2 months, KDB out for 6 months. Then Arsenal had the Jesus' injuries, the Zinchenko's. Declan Rice was out for like 2-3 weeks. Liverpool, Mo Salah was out for 2 months, like 2 months after AFCON. Like, all of them have had crazy injuries, and I feel like the fact that they all sit 1 point apart, I don't know, bro. I'll be real. I'm already beginning to accept Arsenal might do it because the ball is just too dominant.
I don't think they will, bro. Only because they've got such difficult fixtures, and also it's not that we hate them. The players hate them. You seen how Mikel Antonio and them man talk about Arsenal. Arsenal's everyone's cup final, you know, just like we are. It's the truth, though. Like, everyone wants to beat them, bro, for their social media meltdown. Tottenham fans are going to be through the roof for this game. Tottenham players will be, we will be, and even Chelsea. Chelsea will get up for that game as well, bro. Like, nobody wants them to win it, bro. Like, the players genuinely watch all of our shit. I know that because I speak to some of them. And they can't stand them. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be one of them things where these man will get up for it and somebody will get that draw, because honestly, I can't see anyone beating them. I'm not saying it won't happen, because it could happen. And if it does happen, I will be unbearable. However, this title race is so tight. Draws are like losses now. They're like losses now, draws, because it's 1 point between 3 teams, bro.
Yeah, that's why Klopp was losing his shit.
Yeah,
like, Klopp's
head was on Pluto, bruv.
He was finished, didn't it? Like, I think I remember like even watching the City game, and when Mateta scored, and I'm just sat there and I'm like, bro, come on, it's 5 minutes. Like, you got 85. Pep was losing it on the side, and I think it's I'm not gonna lie. One part of me thinks Arsenal staying in the UCL might play a part, because that's now what, 2 games in 3 days that they have to try and work their way around. But now at the moment, listen, I'll be real. Like, I can put my tribal side aside in it. The football's good. He's done a good job,
blood. Anana's gonna go in that tub of Vaseline, that Judge Vaseline, blood, that stops the ball from going in the net, blood. And we're gonna take a point. We're gonna take some points off them still.
But I just hope Emery's got a plan. You have to bear in mind, Emery going back to the Emirates, like,
bro. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, listen, the script is there for them, man, to just bottle it. I swear, it's there. And then man can't even say it's a bottle thing, because it's not like they were top for 93% like last time. But because they're so confident they're gonna win it this time, I think this breaks their heart more, Haj.
Yeah, no, I think because you see, last year there was always the excuse of injuries and this and that. This year, all 3 of them had injuries around the same time. Now, business
key players have all been available though. They haven't lost Rice, they haven't lost Saliba. Do you know what I'm saying? And even Gabriel, like their centre backs and that Rice thing, which is crucial. Like, they haven't lost them.
No, they haven't. But I'm saying, like, from now for the next 6-7 games, all of them, like, Klopp came out, got a fully fit team.
Yeah,
City got a fully fit team. Arsenal got a fully fit team. Everyone is back, and it's just gonna be. I think now it's just gonna come out to like who can win the majority of their games, and the thing is,
it's literally who's gonna pick up the most amount of points.
And all 3 of them look good. And I'll be honest, like, as much as Liverpool have deficiencies, I think the one thing that Liverpool have that those other 3 don't have, Liverpool got a shit ton of goals in that team.
Yeah, they got a shit ton of firepower, but I can't lie, I hate Liverpool. After seeing they couldn't finish us off, they're finishing 3rd for me, because they should have put Man United in a blender and they didn't, in it. So the fact that they couldn't do that to us, I don't expect them to stand the test of time, man.
Because I think Liverpool's biggest flaw, and it's one thing that I've always looked at Klopp, and as much as I like it about Jurgen Klopp, I think this has probably been what has stopped him from winning more silverware than he could have. It's because City know how to kill games by just sucking the life out of the game, by just passing it around for 30 minutes. Liverpool's Klopp's teams have never been able to do that.
No, they always give you a chance.
Can they do the more pragmatic thing, which Arsenal are doing? Liverpool's Klopps have never been pragmatic. So in a sense, their only way of seeing out games is by continuing to attack to try and like get a bigger lead. But sometimes that's what goes against them. So now it's gonna be fun. Like 3 different systems, like every team, Arsenal playing for their first league title, Liverpool playing for Klopp's farewell season, and City trying to break a record of doing 4 in a row. So there is a motive, like there is an incentive for sure.
Oh, there is, man. But one thing's for damn sure is we will be there, people. You get me? We'll be there every step of the way. Make sure you subscribe to Haj's channel. The link is in the title. What have you got coming up for the week, my bro?
Nothing today. I'll just be doing like reviews of the games and just like typical like United discussions, this and that throughout the week.
Quality. Yeah, people, we got watch alongs all week. You already know what it is. Tomorrow's Arsenal Bayern Munich. Wednesdays, we're gonna do PSG Barca. I was debating between doing PSG Barca and also doing the Dortmund one because obviously Jaden's playing and also I like Atleti, but I think we're gonna do the PSG game because it's Mbappe versus Barcelona, bro. So it makes more sense. There's probably more better players playing in that game. And then on Thursday, I think I'm going to do the West Ham Leverkusen, you know, instead of the Liverpool game because I don't care about the Liverpool game. They should beat Atalanta. Liverpool are boring to watch. I think West Ham Leverkusen might be a better game. I think it might be a better game because man want to watch some Alonso ball and see if what he does against West Ham. I think that's going to be interesting to see how they do against West Ham so I can gauge how good they actually are. Do you know what I'm saying? So I might watch that game. What are you saying about that game, Haj? You think they'll smoke West Ham?
Be an easy game.
You think they'll smoke West Ham? Yeah, comfy.
West Ham don't like to play with the ball. Like they're very counter-attacking and they're playing against a team that likes the ball. So like in a sense, you're playing to their strengths. At the same time, like they're also playing to West Ham's strengths. But now that Leverkusen team is cold, man. I'll be real. Like, and it's just a good team, bro. Like they're motivated, they work hard. Like, every time I tune into them, regardless of who he's playing, and like his wing backs, but both of his wing backs are gonna hit like double-digit goals and assists this year. You know how crazy that is. And
that's nuts. Yeah, so yeah, I think we might do we might check out Leverkusen. Yeah, because I don't enjoy watching Liverpool, to be honest. So that's what we're on, but we're definitely doing watch along for all of those competitions, and it's proper sick, man. So make sure you guys tune in to that. Make sure you subscribe to Haj's channel, and we're gonna redirect to Saeed. I think he's also alive. He's also live now with Nuruddin and Musa. You get me? So big up everyone inside. Run up them likes, people. It's been emotional, and yeah, man, we're gonna catch you guys. Fuck me, we got a watch along and 3 shows tomorrow, so we got a busy one tomorrow. So I'll catch you lot in a bit.